Because you never know. Sometimes it doesn't. Cool. Alright, I'm coming through. Wow, a lot of you showed up. Thanks so much for waiting. I had some technical difficulties. My microphone was outputting only mono, and that was, it was just coming out of the one ear. So I fixed that now. It's fixed. But let's show you how our best gal Gabi's doing this year. So in the last little while, she's grown up a little. She's grown up a lot, I should say. There's been some work done. Been some surgery done. Been quite a bit. I'm gonna real quick, open my file explorer and show you some screenshots of how things have been progressing. I just gotta find where I put them. I've got a new hard drive, so all my drive paths have changed. So I have to look up in the new drive. It's an SSD, so it's faster, which is cool. Release character, no. Previews character, Gabi model version 3. There we go. All right. So let me show you how her face, because I've done a lot of work on her face since you guys last saw her. This is the before and after, because I got some comments when I was making the model, because I think I did a comparison, which I also might have. I posted this other picture a while back, this one, showing kind of how it was progressing, and I remember getting some feedback saying that she lost a bit of charm, or like the character looked different in terms of not looking improved, but looking like a different character. So I thought, all right, well, why is that? And I started to kind of look around a bit and see if I could make changes. And I think there was a few different things, but I was able to then take it to this currently, which you can see in the in Blender here. So it went through a few different phases, getting the face right, and it was a lot of work. It was so much work, but I think I'm actually kind of happy with it now. The main difference between these two is that I've changed her textures, so she's using a different color palette. It looks similar, but it's the slight differences, and her eyes and the shape of her face is also changed quite a bit. So you'll notice, I don't think I might have a backup in here somewhere. I don't know where I've put it though. I have to clean up this still a little bit, but I've brought her chin, nose, forehead forward. I've kind of slimmed her cheeks down so that there isn't as much what do you call, there isn't as much like baby fat, and what else? I did something else. I did oh, the eyes, that's right. So I've changed it so that her eyes are a bit smoother. They also have a shadow on the inside of the eye now. So it's the what do you call, the whites of her eyes are always going to be in shadow, which wasn't the case with the previous version. It just looked kind of weird with it always being in light. So now there's actually like like her forehead is casting a shadow, I should say. Kuroyoma, thank you so much for the £5. Is that pounds? Okay, you'll have to forgive me because I haven't touched UK Europe currency in my whole life, but I know that they have pounds and something else, and I don't know which of those that is, but you've given me 5 of them. Thank you so much. Can you please tell us a bit of the story lore? Okay, I can. All right. So some of you might know a bit already because I uploaded a Q&A video for the 100k subs. Oh, by the way, thanks so much for that. Sorry, I've been like too busy to really like keep track of all that stuff. But yeah, we hit the 100k subs milestone. I put out a little video to kind of celebrate it. It's not a devlog. I apologize. It's not like a cool, high quality devlog. It's just a chill Q&A video. And someone asked me that same question. So I have an answer prepared. I will answer that before we get into the meat, because once I get in this, I'm gonna get so focused. I'm just gonna like be very kind of in the zone, and I'm gonna be doing rigging. But to answer your supercat question, thanks so much. And by the way, just ignore my forehead. I've been sunburnt, okay? I actually went outside. Thank you very much. I'm not just a dungeon gremlin sitting here. I did go outside, so everyone worried for my mental well-being, worry no more. I now have, my forehead is now peeling from all the sun damage, so that's great. But let me, let's see. Let me find. I have a document I have to show you. To answer that question properly, I have to open the document. So, I have this little folder here of some little critters, and I'm going to open up one of these. So, Gabi's... Oh, this is the wrong one. The colors are wrong. Hold on, there's another one with better colors. I've been playing around with the colors a lot. There we go. Some colors. So, Gabi's backstory. Someone wanted to know. So, Project Feline's World doesn't look... I mean, this illustration here of the concept art, this isn't in-game, this is backstory. You're asking about the backstory. Unfortunately, it's going to be a while before I can tell the full backstory, and I'd like to in some kind of project someday. But for the moment, I've got some drawings that I've had in my head for a while. And Gabi's World, I've been doing a lot of work to figure it out. This is stuff I've all been doing off camera for years, so I haven't talked much about it, and I tend not to like talking about things I haven't actually accomplished yet. But seeing as you asked, Gabi's World is very kind of, what would you call it? Futurism, like 2000s futurism. That's the aesthetic I want for her world. There's lots of like cool technology, except it's not quite the technology that you'd think. It isn't like our technology. It's like, imagine they still have flip phones, but they're really high-tech flip phones, that kind of stuff. And, you know, Gabi's suit is pretty high-tech. I think I've got her oh no, I do have her suit. I don't know if I've shown this either, but I also redesigned her suit, like, completely, which I will show real quick. I have it on a layer here somewhere. There we go. So I've actually... I'll show the rigging in just a bit, because there's a lot of been done here, but her suit's pretty high tech. It's a you know, and it's technology you wouldn't really see in our world yet. But it's also kind of, I don't know, maybe today's military would not design a suit like this at all. I don't know. I just like how it looks. It's stylish. So her world's a lot like that, but she didn't grow up in that world. She grew up off in some rural town in the middle of nowhere in the cat. Sort of in like a cat cottage, I suppose. Just a small little rural town full of little critters. She was in a band with these two. These were her childhood friends. And then one day something happened. She's not in the town anymore. She hasn't seen these two in years. And that's all I can tell you for now. But that is some of her backstory, some of the lore. There is something about this picture that I haven't said, and I'm curious how many of you can pick up on it. But I'm not going to say what it is. Anyway, I hope that does that satisfy... Sorry, I wasn't checking chat. Does that satisfy your request, Kuro? I hope so. I would love to tell you more, but I just can't do that, okay? You gotta understand, some stuff you gotta save. But I know you guys have been asking about lore for a long time, and I've deliberately been very guarded about it. But I think it's ready. I can show some stuff, probably. It's just, you know, just keep in mind that's backstory. So that the plot of the game is completely different. That's like its own project. But yeah, so Gabi's a bit older than when all that happens in game. In that photograph, she's probably like, you know, 12, 13 or something. But in the game, she's a bit older. Oh, thanks, guys. Then the Fire Nation attacked. That's right. He's got it. Yep, it's basically just Avatar, guys. That's exactly it. All right, so let's get into the meat. Let me show you some of what's been happening. I've also, part of the reason, because believe me, I was expecting this to be a bit further along by the time I streamed it next, but I've just been busy with other stuff. I did a lot of programming work in the last week. Some system stuff, and I've just kind of had to, because if I work too long on one thing, I just go kind of crazy. So let me real quick, because I got a few different layers, so let me just turn off her legs and allow the suit to... there's a mask, yeah, there we go. There's a mask for the... Because I've actually got the legs for the suit and her body as separate objects at the moment. There's a reason for it, but I'm just going to separate them out like this. So this is how her body... Because her body's kind of done, I guess. It's weighted. It's done pretty alright. It's done to Los Pollos standards. So if I move her legs around, these are all... I can't remember the last time I showed this. Maybe I did show this bit already. But her knees now... Well, the weights have been improved on her knees. her feet, her hips, everything. So I'll turn the wireframe back on to show you some of it. So you can see here, and this is, I remember very early in this model, I made a lot of very controversial decisions with the topology. And a lot of people were trying to argue with me about it. And I said, guys, trust me, this will work. And now it is working. So you see here with the foot, I've deliberately left a huge gap in polys right here. And that is because that corresponds to the exact point that the foot kind of stretches. So there's deliberately the edge loops close and they get out of the way and they just give you this. So that way you can stretch the foot a lot and it doesn't do any weird bending and stuff because there isn't enough polygons for it to muck up. It's literally just one face, can't go wrong, and it just bends. So that took a while, and the shoe, I think I might have redesigned that a few times just to get the fit right, because you basically have to become like a fashion designer when you're doing this. So you got to think about, all right, well, would this actually be comfortable? If I were to bend it, if I was wearing this in real life, would this actually be comfortable? So that's something I spent a lot of time thinking about and trying to account for. So I must have redone the shoes about 3 or 4 times until I was happy with them. What else? I've got the body. So I've got things, I think the only thing that's a little off right now, because I've got this mirrored, I still haven't worked out the mirroring and normals yet. That's something I still haven't figured out, but I'm sure I'll figure out something. But let me just turn mirror back on. So the only thing that's not right is that the actual hips for the leg bits, I haven't copied the weights from the body, because I've actually done the weights fine on the body, like without the, because I've got a layer here. Oh, wait, this is a different... Okay, hold on, no, I made a copy of this. There's 2 rigs, because I'm going to do something in a bit. Once we get into it, I'm going to be doing something with the rig. So I made a duplicate of it in case I messed it up. And the other body, I think I should just be able to map... Oh, hold up. Uh-oh. Now it's all breaking. The minute I start showing it off, it starts to break, as usual. No, but I did have it working... But for whatever reason, the mirror modifier doesn't want to... Oh, there we go. Okay, I just had it out of order. So I've got the hips done. Those were a bit of a challenge because there's a lot of stuff going on in like such a small area. So you have to be very sort of careful about where you put edges, where you put everything. What else? Oh yeah, so the actual legs themselves, like if I bend them upwards like this, it's a bit easier to see without the armor in the way. But yeah, just making it so that when I bend her leg up, the entire like hip area, the entire pelvis doesn't just collapse, which is what it was doing before. So you'll notice, if I just move the light, I know, it's gonna be very shiny, but you'll notice that like, it doesn't affect as much of her back like it used to. So I've localized all of the stuff to just, yeah, and I can spread her legs out like this now so she can be very flexible. And her entire pelvis is gonna actually stay intact. Because before, I think what was going on is all the vertices in her pelvis were just like spreading apart like way too much, just with the auto weights. So that's fixed now. That doesn't happen anymore. Her skin stays to her bones where they should be. And I can like move her legs around backwards and stuff, and that'll all react. There is clipping, but a lot of it is kind of deliberate. You really can't avoid it in a lot of cases. Like with the knee, for instance. There actually is a case here where the mesh deliberately clips into the back of her leg, because your actual skin will kind of do that, but it just presses up against the other bit of the skin on this side bit here. But because this is all an illusion and none of this is real and she doesn't actually have skin, I can't make her skin do that unless I wanted to use up way more of the CPU than I needed. So I'm just having it sort of clipped there, and without the wireframe you really can't tell. So it actually looks shape-wise like it's skin folding into itself there. So yeah, and I was able to do that again with a lot of those weird choices I made earlier, where I've got a bunch of sort of edge loops here on the knee and then a huge space in the leg. so that when it contracts, it actually kind of pulls. The way it's so interesting, the way I kind of see this working. This isn't how I used to do rigging, but this makes a lot of sense to me now that I've done it. But the basic idea with like the joints is that you essentially want these vertices at the back, these edges, to kind of act like pulls. So the polygons over the knee stretch to go around the knee, and the ones on the back pull the rest of the leg up, kind of like that. And the arm works the same way. So if I go to the arm, I did a lot of work on this a few weeks ago. The arm has the same topology, and if I bend her arm like that, you can see that that big gap in vertices, the big gap in edges, is just kind of pulling the arm towards it. So I can't really see it, but all this is pulling the arm like that, and then the rest of the vertices are kind of like, you know, they're doing stuff. They're kind of enveloping the elbow. And because I think, yeah, so I'm just trying to remember what I showed all of you last time I streamed, and I think the last time I was streaming, it was mostly auto weights, a lot of this. So now that I've actually gone in and touched things up, you can actually see that she has an elbow now. So there actually is a little piece sticking out right there, and that wasn't happening before. So again, these are all very smart, you know, they're very minor things, but when you start posing the character and taking pictures of the character, a lot of those start to add up, and they look like, oh, this is like a person, like this, I understand what this is. Because weirdly enough, anime, I went to this drawing class when I was 9, and the guy running it, oh, maybe I was 10, I might have been 10 or 11, but the guy running it really hated anime for some reason. He said, oh no, anime's not a real art style. You just draw lines. You know, you're not doing real art. And then of course he would start drawing Mickey Mouse, and that was real art to him, I suppose. But I guess his main criticism was that it doesn't follow the rules of an anime or whatever. But I don't think that's actually true. I think with the stuff I've seen, if you look at like a frame of an anime, you'll notice that they actually do know that stuff, and they do understand it. It's just that they simplify it a lot and they take shortcuts. But there is underlying, you know, they will draw little lines for the elbows. They will draw all those little things that indicate that they are aware of what anatomy is, sort of stuff. So that's what I've kind of tried to do here too. And same with the collarbone, I fixed that up a lot. And I have it so that it doesn't, I can like move the arm around and it won't completely collapse the collarbone like it used to do. So yeah, it's just a lot of manual work. This took about like a week or two to get to a level I was happy with, where, you know, it would actually kind of move like I would expect. So yeah, that's and the fingers, I also touched those up. I think last time I showed this, I had like auto weighted the fingers, but I've now made it so that when she actually bends her finger, you can see that the muscle and fat between her fingers actually bunches up, whereas before it wasn't doing that so well, because I think I just did auto weights. But now I've adjusted them. They kind of collapse and fold, and that kind of chub between the fingers, like the more it bends, the more there's like a bit of chub in between, which is going to make posing the hands look a lot better, because that's what fingers do. You know, if you actually try and bend if you pay attention to like the little bits in between, you'll see that they actually do kind of compress. So that happens now. And in terms of the body, and there's one more thing about the body I totally forgot. That is this, where is it? This little guy, that's right. Her tail is also rigged. This was the most fun to do so far, because I've done a much better job of it than last time. So a lot of people, when they were playing the game, I think I've actually had requests to remove the tail because it was so distracting. And the reason it was distracting is because I did a terrible job at implementing the tail on her old model. I'll see if I can bring that up real quick to show you. So those who have played the prototype, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The reason that her old tail looks so jank is because I think it literally was a last-minute addition. I think when I was building the model and the concept, doing the model sheets, I don't think I actually had a tail on. So this was her old model, and I literally just thought last minute, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I added a tail? So I just like shoved it straight into her back here and called it a day. But what ended up happening was, you know, you move the tail around, it looks so unnatural. It's really, you know, and you look at it in game, it looks like it's just protruding out of her spine at a very unnatural angle. So with the benefit of foresight and actually intending for a tail now, I've managed to fix that up a little. So now when she wags her tail, firstly, I can control it with one bone, which is immensely helpful. So I can just do this, and she can get all excited. It's pretty cool. It doesn't stick out straight up from her back. In fact, I don't think it's even possible. Like, I can try and coil it up, but I did some research on tails, which I didn't do here. And you can see that the tail at this angle would be impossible, because that's not how tails work, which is probably why it looked so weird. Now, it actually follows the curvature of the spine, because I think the thing that I got wrong was thinking, just ignore, I know it's coiling up like mad right now. But you see how it's, like, having it stick out straight like that is actually not possible. I think when I was looking up anatomy for cats, and to have it stick straight up like that, or better yet, have it, like, bend upwards, like, it can't go more than this. This is, like, the maximum. If you try and do it like that, the bone just literally will not bend like that. And the old tail, I think I made it so that when she was falling, her tail would do this. And now that I know a bit of anatomy, I realize that that's actually impossible. A tail wouldn't. It's like having a finger that bends all the way backwards. Like, it just wouldn't. It's impossible. It just wouldn't work. So now I've tried to position it. I've modeled it in a different angle, and I've made it so that, yeah, if I'm really extreme with it, I can do that. But I'm not going to do this in the animation, of course. The most I would probably do is this, which looks, you know, I would argue a little more natural than the prior one. She can also kind of bend it more the other way too. So that, and it's longer, you might have noticed. It's actually, her tail is quite noticeably longer. I think it's 3 times as long as it used to be. It just kind of felt like the right thing, because what I can then do with a longer tail is I can coil it more and have it still be visible when you look at her from the front or the side, which her tail was kind of more obfuscated before, because a lot of the time when I draw her, I kind of do this, where, you know, I'll kind of have it in like a little ringlet shape when I draw it, which I can do now, which in the old tail was not, it was just too short, like it was impossible to do. Like, yeah, you can't even, it's so short, and her thighs are so thick here that you can't even really see it. So that always used to bother me. And then, yeah, when you'd see it from this angle with her wagging it in the animations, because it was just coming out from that angle, yeah, it was throwing a lot of people off. So now that should be solved. We should no longer get requests to remove the tail. And I think that's, in terms of the body, that's kind of all there is to it. I was able to achieve most of this with the Rigify presets, so the humanoid components and the tail Rigify chain to do all that. So the only thing I've been having trouble with is the facial rig, because, oh my god, it's a bit of a nightmare. And that's what we're going to try and focus on for the rest of the stream. Oh, sorry, I'll go through some chat messages. Well, yeah, so getting the tail to follow the spine bones, it does it mostly now. The only challenge is that with the Arc System Works rigging guidelines, those characters don't have tails, and they require you to kind of put the spine bones in very specific spots. So, excuse me. So if I go to the deform bones, which are these little stick things here, I'll solo them here. You can see that the spine bone is meant to actually be slightly higher than it is in real life, because there's a lot of reasons. There's a whole PowerPoint worth of like reasons why they put the bones where they put them. So I can't have it you know, it's not exactly one-to-one anatomy, so I've just kind of done my own little thing here to try and make it look, you know, as close as I can get to the spine. I've also done this little trick, which you might have noticed, where it actually kind of docks here, which the old tail I didn't do. And I know it looks kind of weird, like here, yeah, it just kind of stops. The tail just literally abruptly stops inside the body. Now, the reason I've done this is because when I took the old character, when I took it to Unreal, often the tail would separate from the spine. Like, it would just come out, and like you'd see these polygons out in the open, and it looked bad. Now, I still haven't figured out why, because I think it's more to do with importing it and the weights, I don't know. I have these issues where sometimes the weights don't always copy one-to-one. So to mitigate some of those issues, I've just docked it so that even if it comes out slightly, it won't be noticeable as much if you're looking at it from the distance you would be looking at it in game. So if I have it like this, you can see the tail is just slightly, and if I put it, I try this, if I try to make the bone go further in, then this tail will move too much sideways when I bend it. Like it'll, because you can see at this first ring here, you see how much it moves? It, like, the position changes quite a bit, and I wanted it to stay pivoted to this part at the back. So I made it so that the bone ended exactly there, because that's why I don't want it moving from that spot, because the armor is specifically designed for that spot. Because they're, yep. So I've got this little piece here, and if it goes further in, it can move around more, and then it clips through the armor. So I've just taken a deliberate choice to put it there and just dock it on this side. So yeah, that way it can go a little out of socket if it breaks, but you won't see a gap in the topology that way. So if I bend it down like this, you know, without the topology on, and if you're looking at it from this distance, it looks better, right? Like it doesn't look like the tail's breaking. So those are some cool tricks that I picked up to solve that. Now, in terms of the facial rig, because this is where things get a bit serious. This is where we get a bit, this is where things get complicated. Because what I've been trying to do, I might just quickly restore from my last save in case I touch something. So, real quick, I just got to make sure that the mirror is above the armature and that we're bound to this. Now, and I'm going to just turn off all our ears and our extremities because I haven't rigged those bits yet. Those are going to come later. Doing the face has been kind of a challenge because, like I've said with this model, I want to use it for more than just the in-game model. I want to use it for promotional art as well. That's a big one. And I'm not sure if I've shared this part of the plan because a lot of people in the past have asked me about cutscenes. They're like, Ray, are you gonna get voice actors and do animated cinematics? No, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm still going to try and have a campaign, some kind of plot to tie the events and levels together in some cohesive way. But doing animated cutscenes and voiceover is exorbitantly expensive for a one-man team. I could try and do it, but it would just be too much with all the other responsibilities I have. So I've taken a slightly different strategy to how I'm going to do it. Because doing animated cinematics requires a lot of time on animating, and it requires a lot of time with voice cast people. And I think I've described before, I have actually done a bit of voice acting before. I've tried doing voice directing before. It is a lot harder than it looks. So with that in mind, I'm going to avoid it because it is a lot harder than it looks. And instead, I'm going to stick to strengths I already have in abundance. Because I might not be the best voice actor, I might not be the best voice director. Because the reason that's important is because it doesn't even matter, because I know heaps of people have written to me asking to voice Gabi and stuff, right? But the talent doesn't actually matter at a certain point unless you know what you want from them. That's part of the reason why, like, you'll see plenty of games that have great voice cast, and you'll hear, and it's just a bad writing or something, right? And you'll hear the comment of, oh, well, they did the best with what they were given. So you'll find that sometimes, you know, having the right talent isn't enough if the writing is bad, if the direction is bad. And that's all stuff I have to, like, that's stuff I have to do, right? So because I'm not the most experienced with that, what I am good at instead, though, is illustrating. I do that a lot. I draw all the merch designs. The shirt I'm wearing now, I illustrated. All the Steam page, the YouTube channel, every thumbnail you've seen on my channel has all been illustrated by me. That's something I'm pretty good at. So I thought, hey, what if I just did like drawings, like a cinemat, like a what do you call them? Like an animatic type thing for cinematics, and you know, kind of like in Gravity Rush, that kind of stuff. That's where I want to go with things. So how does the model come into this, you might be thinking? Well, as I have demonstrated a little bit, I'm just going to quickly show you some images of what I'm talking about, because I've got the model on screen now and it's a little hard to picture, but I'm going to show you a one image that'll kind of describe exactly what I'm doing. Just let me dig it up. It's in one of these folders. I might have posted this already somewhere, actually. Okay, check this out. You see this? So this is the model from about a month ago. This is me touching it up in Photoshop, and this was the thumbnail for my last devlog. So, got him. Gotcha. See, it wasn't a drawing. I know a lot of people thought this was a drawing, and it kind of is, but I expedited it significantly by starting with this. So my plan is, for doing any kind of in-game storytelling, is to just basically use the models as stills. So that's where things like this rigging become important, because if you can't get the character posed the right way, because the idea is, because remember, this is not the current, like the model's more developed than this now. The colors are better, the face is better. But, you know, I still had to do a lot of touching up, right, in post, with the face mainly. Now that I've got the face to a more better place, I probably won't have to do this step anymore. So the idea is, as I continue developing the model, it's less and less stuff I have to touch up. So the face is now one less thing I have to touch up. There's still a few little, maybe the lighting might be something. But the idea is that I can just kind of take a screenshot of the model and maybe touch up for like 20 minutes. And that's it. That's what I want to do. Now, the reason I want to do it that way is because I already have to make the model for the game anyway. And in animation, there's this concept called staying on model. And this is something I've only really kind of just figured out. There's a video that introduced me to this concept about The Simpsons. And you'd actually be surprised how crazy the guidelines are for drawing Simpsons characters. If you want to check it out in your own time, I think it's just called, like, I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a video about The Simpsons. Like the drawing guidelines. So they, you know, for Bart Simpson and all that, the diameter of the pupils have to be no more than 5% of the diameter of the eye. The eyes have to always, like, you can't do them cross-eyed. You can't have them looking directly into the camera. They always have to be looking a certain way. The head can only be drawn from a certain explicit set of angles. You can never draw the character from front on. There's a lot of rules like that so that they always look consistent across episodes. Because remember, with these big studios, they'll have like heaps of artists all doing it. So the idea is, how do you make hundreds of artists look like it was made by the same person? And that's why all those exist. So they have actual character sheets and model sheets for those characters that they do. And I've done a similar thing when I was doing Gabi's model. But the difference between me and The Simpsons is that, you know, they have to have a whole 100-page workbook to stay on model, whereas I actually have a model. Like, I could literally just use the model to stay on model. You see where I'm going? See what I'm saying? So you'll notice in a lot of my older drawings of Gabi that she kind of looks slightly different in each one. So her hairstyle might change slightly, the colors might change slightly, the eyes might change. So if I make this model so good, if I can get the facial rig and I can start making her expressive, I can do all of the posing in Blender, take a screenshot, and then every illustration I ever publish of her is always going to be on model, because it's literally just the model. So that's my strategy. So, you know, a lot of you might be thinking it's a bit overboard to do a face rig for just, you know, the in-game character model. And yes, it would be if that was all it was. But with that in mind, because the thing is, you've probably seen, I have illustrations everywhere. Like, that's a big part of my brand, I think, is all of these. And I do spend, because I've looked at how I've spent time over the last few years, and I do spend quite a bit of it illustrating. And it's like, well, what if I could cut that and also double that with an actual model for the game? So that's the idea. That's partly why this whole model even began at all, because the old model, which I will open again real quick, is not anywhere to the standard you would need to pull this off. Because yeah, for those who haven't, I mean, some of you have seen it in game and just looked at it from the back in most of my videos, right? But if I was to try and use this for thumbnails and stuff, you can just tell it's just not, it looks like a 3D model, right? So that's kind of, yeah, I want to make this look so good that I can just do this and you wouldn't even know. And a lot of you didn't. And I know a lot of you didn't, because when I posted this, a lot of you were just like, wait, what? That's the model? So that's the reaction I want. Anyway, I think now that we're all on that up to speed with what I'm planning on, we can now I'm going to tell you some of the stuff I've tried with this face rig, because this has been an actual nightmare. I'm just gonna, now, don't be alarmed, she's not dead. I've just turned off her eyes at the moment because they are on a separate, they're on a separate mesh right now. I'm just going to turn them off. I'm going to rig those at the end, because those are pretty easy. So what I've tried doing with the facial rig so far, and this has been painful to try and work out, is I've tried to use Rigify's face rig. And Rigify's face rig is actually like decent, which is why I wanted to use it as a base, because it does do a lot, but it also does more than what I need. So one thing I've tried to do already is that I've actually weight painted the tongue and teeth so that I can have her mouth open and have stuff in there, and I can have her doing all sorts of expressions. So I can move her tongue around. It's a bit of a tight fit, but that's all done. That was actually the easiest. Excuse me. That was the easiest bit to do. Was that? But the hardest bit has been everything else, because you'll notice that there are lots of little widgets. So if I just turn on wireframe view, there's all of these little widgets around to control a lot of the face and the eyes too. And I know, it's horrifying. It's completely horrifying. And one thing I've noticed, as I've been, just this morning, I was like trying to work up more on this. And I think, you know, I've tried so hard to get the weights right and everything. Like, I'll show you. I've gone into almost every deformed bone and tried to touch things up. And it still just doesn't look good. It looks so jank. It looks not right. I'll try and give you an idea on sort of the stuff I've been doing lately. I just need to get, because with the and here's what I like about Rigify too, is that it generates a lot of these cool handles for you, which I think you can do manually, but I've only ever done that in Maya, and I don't know how to do it in Blender. So I rely on Rigify's ones a lot, because for the most part they work. Like for the arms and the body, that worked perfectly. For the face, however, it hasn't worked so well. So this layer of bones, this is what's actually controlling the weights, is these deformed bones. These controllers on top are just extra. But if I quickly go in and show you how these are mapped to the deformed bones, you can see me trying to weight bits of the forehead to each bone and the eyebrow and the eyes. And I've done as good a job as I can on that. But a lot of the issues that I've been having is actually just due with how these bones move, like these eyelids. And thanks so much, Kuro, again, for the 20 pounds, I think it is, or whatever that. Actually, let me look that up, because I really should know what currency that is. What currency is that? Euros. I knew I was forgetting something. Yes. Thanks so much for the 20 euros, and thanks so much for the compliment. Oh, Germany. Cool. So that's, now I know that Germany uses euros. Thanks for educating me. Thanks so much, Kuro. Keo asks, is it possible that there's just too many bones? Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because, well, you'll find that there's a lot of these little controllers to control parts of the cheeks and stuff, but I don't think I'm going to be using a lot of those. And also with the ones that I do want to use, they don't behave the way I want either. So with Rigify, I mean, typically, I don't think a lot of people have tried using Rigify for this sort of thing, right? But, you know, I want to be able to move the eyelids down, but it seems to do this weird thing where it rotates this envelope here, which I don't want it doing. And I don't have any weights. That bone doesn't have any of the weights on it, but it's like, because a real eye would kind of have that, where it would rotate the ends a little. But this isn't a real eye, this is an anime eye. So it's kind of a case where I'm trying to use Rigify for something it's kind of not meant for here, which I guess has been the case for most of the character, but I've been able to get it to work except here. So even here, when I tried to move the bottom of the eye, this bone can physically only move side to side. It can't move down or up. Same with this one. They all move very particularly. And this would probably work fine for a realistic character, but that's not what I'm doing. And even this one, this does not move the way I would expect. I don't want it moving like that, but because it's a Rigify, it has to move like that. So my game theory is, I'm just going to make my own bones and do it manually for this bit, because This, I mean, look, Rigify is great. It's just I think I'm trying to do too much, or not something it can't really do. And yeah, a lot of these bones I don't think I'm gonna use, to be honest. Like, yeah, now that I've like played around with it a bit, and I've kind of looked at what everything does, like these little things, I'm not gonna use that. Like, why do I need these? I don't need these at all. These little guys. And there's like 2 bones on the nose. I only need 1. I don't need 2. The mouth is not bad. So that's because that's the thing, is that there's some of it that I kind of like, but there's a lot of it I don't. So this part of the mouth, for instance, I love that I can scale up this one bit and just make the mouth massive. That's really cool, and I want to try and keep that. I know the weights are not perfect here yet, but I love those little controllers, and it makes it so convenient. But I also have to put up with all this other stuff that it puts in. And the jaw, like this, it has this big little thing for the jaw that I really like. But it for whatever reason, and I don't know why, it's like taking, it's like moving, it's moving like the eyes, and I've checked the weights, there is no bone from the jaw that is weighted to the eyes. But for whatever reason, it's doing this. So, as much as I love this little jaw controller, it's just causing too many problems. And it's like, yeah, I think this isn't it, Chief. And the eyebrows as well. They mostly work the way I want, but also not really. Like, I don't want them to work like this. They're too wiggly. I don't want her having wiggly eyebrows. I want her having, I don't know, kind of cool eyebrows. Whatever, I don't know. And yeah, it's just, I reckon I could do a better job with less bones annually. So that's what I'm gonna do. So what we're gonna do here is I've made a duplicate of this meta rig, which is what no, not a meta rig. What is it called? Because there's 2 types of rigs in Rigify. There's the deform rig that you set up. This is where you place all the bones, and then it generates this like more complex version with those, which has all the controllers and stuff. So I've made copies of them because I'm going to sever her head off and rebuild it with my own bones. And even here, it's got controls for ears, which Gabi, like, if you guys recall, the reason I've got these ears modeled in is because I'm going to be using this as a base for other humanoids, which will have those ears. Gabi will actually, I'm going to take these off once I'm finished and just cover them with, I don't know, I might just leave them empty because you're not going to be able to see this anyway. But the fact that there's bones for them in the Rigify stuff, it's like, I don't need that. Like, the ears do not need to move. So there's a lot of unnecessary stuff. So I'm just gonna have to concentrate real quick and figure out how to safely remove those bones without breaking the rest, because the rest of the rig is fine. It's perfect. It's just the head. And Rigify is a bit weird where it has a tough time when you try and take bits off it. I think they have made it more modular since I last used it, but I haven't tested the limits of that too much. So I'm gonna figure out how to safely remove the head, remove the cranial unit, and start just my own bone thing and see what we can do, and hopefully it won't break the rest of the body. So I've got this copy. What I might do is I'll take the meta rig and I'll regenerate everything, but using, you know, being kind of smart. Because I think with the meta rig, the way this works is that all the bones are named specific names, and based on what they're named, I don't know where, there's like a thing that lets you, what is it called? There's a thing. I think if I'm in pose mode, I can show you what it is I'm trying to show you. Is this pose mode? Okay, so when I'm in pose mode, yeah, you can see here in the corner, it says Rigify type. So if I click on a certain bone, it'll actually tell me what kind of, you just gotta find one like that starts a chain somewhere. Here we go. So you see here, this is a skin stretchy chain, which I don't need. And then this one will be another skin stretchy chain. So I think the entire face is made of these modular stretchy chain bones. Like the eyebrow, the little bit under the eye are all made of, and then this one is called skin basic for the forehead. Then there's super basic for the ear. So these are all presets, and what the presets essentially do when you mark a bone as this type, it tells the Rigify script when it's building the rig to give it a certain controller and certain properties and constraints. And because I haven't built Rigify, I know that what some of them do, but because I don't know the code, I have no idea how it's all going to work and how it does it all. But I just know it's based on the names of these. So what we're going to do to stop it from generating the face is that we're just going to take all this off. Or, actually, I might be able to leave some of them, but just mark them, what do you call it? Just have them marked not as Rigify chains. Well, here's where you're wrong, Fomletto. Rigify used to be a single unit, but there was an update. I don't know when, but they had an update where they made it not like that. They made it modular, which is why certain bits of these are called skin stretchy and this and that. The old version, you just select the neck and it would all just be called face. But yeah, now that I look at it, you know what? I'll just get rid of it all. I was thinking, oh, maybe I could salvage them, but it'll be better if I just do it all again. So if I delete all those, now I just got to see what bone this is. This is a... Oh, let's have a look. Humanoid. No, I'm looking at the wrong menu. Okay, so I think that's the neck. I don't want to delete the neck. So let me just double check what, because there's two bones here. I just got to figure out which one is the one I want to delete and which one I don't. Yeah, because there's this thing. Oh, I think I know which one that is. I think I know. Okay, no, it's not coming up now. Oh. Review type, Rigify. Okay, so that's, I can delete that one. That's safe to delete. So we'll get rid of those, we'll get rid of that. We'll get, oh, come on. Get rid of that. So now, I just don't know, I just gotta make sure that I think this one I want to delete, but I'm not 100% sure. What, okay, I can, ooh. Let's just try regenerating this and see what happens. I'll leave that one there. If it causes an issue, I'll take it out. Have I tried using shape keys? Yeah, and I'm not gonna do them. No, I'm not gonna touch shape keys. All right, so now I just hope it didn't remove the neck, and I think it did. I think the neck is gone. Oh, hold on, something here is not right. I think. Oh, hold on. I just want to, I think it's done something to the torso. It doesn't look right. Let me just check. I might just be seeing things. Let me just, yeah, hold on. There's something I gotta look at. Okay, so it's, yeah, it's changed the torso slightly. Because it's got, you see these little orange bits? I think that's meant to be the neck. But it's moved it down? Let's, well, let's actually see what those do. Oh, I don't want that on. Where's armature? Armature. There we go. So if I, oh, I got a bad feeling about this. It shouldn't have moved the neck. Okay, yeah, no, that isn't. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Let's revert. Let's go back. Because yeah, there should be a massive. It's meant to have this massive thing here. And I hold on. Let me turn off the. Let me turn off all this. So this. Because I've got a copy, I've got a duplicate of this mesh in case I mess up. I'm going to turn off the eyes. I'm going to... Okay, I think that's the old one. So that's the new one. So let's just see if this is still gonna work. Okay, let's save now. Let's turn off anything that isn't the humanoid base mesh and mirror, so I can see what's going on. All right, let's save it here so that if I mess up, I just go back to this point. And we'll go to the meta rig. So I just gotta figure out, because if the neck is part of the head, I'm in trouble. If it's not, it shouldn't be. I hope not. But unless, there might be something I could do to have this not break as much. Because I know that there is a version of Rigify. There's a version of the thing you can generate that will not have all the face. It'll have the head, but not the face. Because the head is fine. It's just the face I don't want. So I might I'll leave all those alone. All the ones going up through her skull. And I'll just get rid of everything else. Because I think I wasn't meant to delete one of those. Like those, yeah. I'll leave those. And then we'll try regenerate. Cool. That's better. See how now she has a halo on her head? Oh, whoa. Look at that. Okay, well, that's not quite what I wanted, but that's, I mean, bone-wise. So now the neck is where it's meant to be. That's fantastic. But I don't know, there's something... hold up. Something's not right still. I'm not talking about the face, just ignore that. I'm talking about, well, I'll tell you what we'll do, just so I can... We'll map the entire face just to the head for the moment. So that way, if anything gets loose, like we haven't assigned a bone weight to something, it'll just go to the head by default. That's what I want. So I'll just take all of that, assign to a spine 6. So now it should just... The whole head should follow. Okay. I guess the neck's fine. I mean, it could probably use a little adjusting on the weights. I was just worried that it was like bending in a stiffer way than it used to. So I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be a problem. But yeah, I think if I just adjust some of the weights on the back there, it should be okay. But yeah, this is the gamer neck, the gamer posture. All right, yeah, okay. So now that we've just got the head on its own there, I can start, well, I'll make just a separate thing for the bones. I'll make it its own object, and then we'll merge them in later and see what happens. Because who knows, it might not like, if I try and add my own deformed bones, it might not like it. So just in case, because the thing is, I have done a bit of Frankensteining with Rigify before, and it did work. You just got to be very careful. So I'm going to do these bones on their own object first, just to make it non-destructive. I'm just happy that this now works without the face there, which is great. I just need whatever you call it. There's a thing, add bone. Mesh, surface. Single bone, yeah, that'll do. And I don't think I'm going to try and bother with fancy controllers. Maybe, if I really need to, but I just want to get the weights to be decent. That's all I want. All right, let me just turn off because my OBS is showing me my screen and it's using up memory. So let me turn on performance mode. That's better. This will run a little better now, hopefully. Oh, where'd you guys go? Oh, there you are. All right. So if I just carefully, because what I'm thinking is, we'll have like a few, like maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2. We just need something where we can like bend the jaw. So I might just throw in a bone through the middle here to move the whole jaw and like act as a... I think that's going to be the main thing. So I'll try to have some kind of bone here that just controls the whole lower face. But it needs to... just from memory, the jaw needs to start about here. Because there are rules for the arc system works method of like where the jaw bones should go. So I'll have it about there. I'll add some bones for the teeth. And I'll give this a name. I should probably name these as I go. So we'll call this, I'll try to use the Rigify convention, just if it helps. Because I know that it, well, the rest of my bones will be named with that convention, so it just makes sense to use the same convention for these other bones. Let me just check, because the deform bones are named specific things. Well, actually, you know what would help? There's a little thing I can turn on that shows me the names. Let me just look for it, because I want to see them in the scene. There's a little button. Ah, names, there we go. And then the deform bones have names. Oh no, this is the meta rig. Where's the, because I'm not going to be using the meta rig anymore. So I'll turn that off. On the actual rig, they're called different groups. They have different conventions. So I just want to, just for, I don't know, consistency's sake, I want to use the same naming convention. It's always good to use the same naming convention. So let me just see what these are called. So the left and right are suffixed with dot, capital L or R. Oh, wait, that's not the these are the deform bones. Okay, so they're prefixed with DEF dash name dot suffix with the side. Okay, I can remember that. So that means this would be called def dash jaw. Now, I forgot how to, how do I name it now? Ah, here we go. Def dash jaw. And then we'll make ones for the, I'll just try and do the easy bones first, just to get in the flow. So this one will be called def teeth dot top. Well, you do dot T for top. And the cool thing is, because I'm using the same convention, I've already vertex painted. I've actually, before I hopped on stream, I removed the vertex groups from the bones I knew I would delete. So I deliberately left behind the tongue and the teeth, and the bones I'm going to make will be the same, will be named the same. So that's how I remember that this is what the name should be. And because of that, when I reparent this, the teeth and tongue should be fine. Like, they should still have the weight painting I did previously. The trick is you just gotta have the bones in the right place, which is a little, actually I'll turn off mirror because it's gonna be easy to see. If I can look at it from here, that'll be a bit easier. There we go, because I like to move them exactly where the vertices are. Like so. And then I move them like that. And then I just make sure that they're not rotated. There we go. So that's the bottom. Oh, that's the top, sorry. And then this will be the bottom. Oh, that's the name of it. We'll just call this... We'll give this armature a name. We'll call this humanoid rig face. And just gotta get the bone B. So this is def teeth B, which is teeth bottom. And I know the bones are pretty close together, but that's kind of where I want to control them from. So when they're close together like this, then the teeth will be clenched. And then when I move them apart, they will open. All right, what else will I, tongue, that's right. How many bones? I think it was just 2. Let me check how many was on the deform, the older version. I think there was 3 bones. Okay, well I'll do 3 too then. So yeah, this is gonna mostly be the same, because that was actually not terrible with the, no, maybe I should have kept those ones. Ah well, it'll give me some practice to make them by hand. And I guess because it's part of the, yeah, it's part of a different armature, so it's probably best I just do them from scratch. And I'll just copy this bone again. And this one, we'll make 3 bones for the tongue. Just gotta remember where they all go. Actually, yeah, if I show the old rig on top, I can just move these bones into place and see their names. So I'll call this deftongue.002. There we go. Def Joe is my favorite bone. Yeah. El Demso says, hello Raymond, I completely agree with the title of your stream. Me too, buddy. Me too. But yeah, this isn't rigging related, but yeah, I recently was doing a lot of systems programming and stuff like that earlier in the week. So some of you, I don't know how many of you saw it, but the last devlog I did was about combat. And what I didn't mention was that I actually still had a few bugs left over that I was hoping to have fixed by the time the video came out, but I didn't fix them all. And now I have, so that's exciting, because there was this weird issue that is like barely, you can't really tell from the video, but when you play it, you can like feel it. Where if Gabi starts trying to attack enemies where she like kind of homes in on them in midair, sometimes the enemy would like nudge her out of the way with the collision. So I fixed all of that now. And because of that, I was able to like speed up her attack by like ×2. So what you would have seen in that video where she's like attacking stuff, you can now do that at like double the speed and the collision won't break. So it stays pretty stable. The only thing that looks not good is that the animations are, well, there is no animation really. It's just the animations look pretty bad. And that's something I'm hoping to fix once this is all done. I want to give her really cool moves. This is like the bit I really want to get to is the animating streams. Those are going to be fun. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I want to give her cool flips, make her very acrobatic. I'm planning to look at a lot of gymnast videos for reference. So I've been collecting as much as I can on like just, you know, gymnast videos, people doing flips, pole vaults, whatever you know, all those cool moves. Because I don't know, it just seems like it would work for who Gabi is, I think. Now that the tongue's there, I just got to think about what I want. I think we'll do the eyebrows. I think I know what I want for the eyebrows. I want about three bones, I think, for the eyebrows. And I'll just pay attention to what these are called. For whatever reason, these are called Def Brow TL. Now I don't know. Oh, okay. I think I know why they're called T. Because T stands for top, and it's like, well, you wouldn't have eyebrows on the bottom, and it turns out it's because there's actually a second set of bones to control the fold. So that makes sense. That's called brow bottom. This is brow top. So, all right, we'll do the same. Let me just get this. Make another bone. We'll call this def. Brow or def. Yeah, brow.t.l, and then it'll have some other suffix depending on where we put it. Let me just see what these are named. 3, 2, 1. Where's brow? Oh, brow is on the side. Okay, well, I don't want a bone there anyway, so we might just start off at brow 0. Yeah, that's the thing with Rigify is, well, this was actually a thing with the new version of it, because yeah, they've got 2 different versions of the facial rig now. And the new version actually has slightly more bones because it connects different, like it has bones that connect everything. Whereas the old version didn't have that. So there's now like some just stray bones in there that are just there to connect one chain to the other that I'm really not planning on using. But they have weights to them anyway, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't really want that. So with doing it this way, I will not have that problem. I can just decide what bones I want and where. Now I just gotta be careful. I actually don't think I want 3 bones for that. I think I just want the 1 for this piece, actually. I think it's the upper eyebrow. Yeah. So I might move this to the upper eyebrow. I think for this little crease, I just want 1. I don't want 3. 3 is too much. The other thing I'm also anticipating, because with Gabi's old model, I don't know how many of you noticed. I don't think most of you have actually, so I'm probably going to dig myself a hole by telling you this well-known secret, is that the face rig in-game for her old model is completely broken. And there'll be lots of issues where her eyes will just clip into her face will stretch, like bits of her jaw will come out of place and stuff. But because you don't see it from that angle that much, I don't think anyone picked up on it. But there are lots of issues, and I think a lot of it's to do with Rigify. So if I go ahead and do it this way, I might be able to avoid those problems. Maybe, hopefully. But you never know. I'm liking where these are going. I just gotta think how, I think I want to move this forward a bit there, and then maybe have this there. Yeah. So this is, let me just keep track of the names. So that's brow 02, 01. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll make bones for this bottom bit. So we'll call this brow B, and we'll just have one bone just to control. Where should the bone start? That's like, maybe here and here, and that'll just control this little fold. That's all it'll do. And I'm just going to map it, the entire area, just to this bone. Let's save. What else do I want? There's a lot of bones on the side of the face that I don't want. And yeah, it's got these bones to like contract the forehead, which actually would be cool for a realistic character. Like, I think it makes it so that you can have like folds and wow. Yeah, ignore the sunburn, okay? I'm having bits of skin just peel off my forehead as I try and demonstrate this. But yeah, we won't need that kind of stuff for Gabi. We can just move the eyebrows. We don't need bones. I think the forehead we could just map to the head, just the head bone. Because the whole ear, this whole bit, that none of that is going to move. Like, we don't need that to move. We don't need her ears to move. We don't need her scalp to move. We don't need any of that to move. So we won't bother making bones for those. The nose we will need to move though, and I'm just trying to think how many bones I would need. I'll start, well, let's see. We might want maybe, I don't know, let me think. Maybe something for the bridge. We might want a bone just to control that, and then one for the tip. So I'll create 2 bones for that. Let me just think what I should call them. What is... Oh, I do have a bone there already for the old one. We'll call it Deaf Nose. But yeah, with Regify though, it adds these bones to the side of the nose to control... I think it's to control the nostrils. Like, you might have noticed Gabi has no nostrils, so we will not need those. But yeah, it'd be cool if I could just pick and choose the bones more easily from Rigify, but yeah, I know that if you take out stuff, it doesn't like it. Like, if you can control the individual chains, like if you just don't want the entire nose, that's fine. But if you try and take out a piece of the nose, it's like, nuh-uh, we don't like that, and it'll break. So we'll avoid those problems. Okay, now that I'm in a bit of the flow of things, how was everyone's New Year's? Oh, sorry, it took me so long to ask. But I hope everyone's like doing all right. They didn't get too hungover or whatever you kids do nowadays. Oh, question from Darren Toad. Thoughts on rigging changes to Blender 4? Are you planning on updating? This is the first I'm hearing about it. I have no idea what Blender 4 is. But I'm happy with what I've got installed, so I'm just going to keep using that. My general attitude is don't update. That's just my general rule, because it usually doesn't, like, it'll break something. That's been my experience. So I just don't bother unless there's something I really need from the new one. But I don't know, the techniques I'm doing, you know, Arc System Works, we're using Softimage to do all that stuff, which is like discontinued. So I mean, hell, if Softimage was good enough for them, then Blender 3.5 is perfectly capable for me. That one talking flower says my neighbor shot fireworks even though it's illegal because I live in a forest with tall tree. Damn. Yeah, that's a very risk-taking behavior. That's not so good. I hope it wasn't too loud. Weirdly enough, yeah, I'm not a big fan of fireworks myself. They're just noisy. I think I'm trying to remember what I was doing when I was... What was I doing when the clock ticked? I think I was this is gonna sound depressing, but I was weight painting. Yeah, that's what I was up to. It was like 12:00 something, and I looked at the time, and I was still... Because I was like, okay, my plan was to go to bed at like 11. I was like, I'll just get some weight painting done, and then I saw the clock, and it was like 12:08 or something, and I was like, oh... I guess that's how, the first few minutes of my new year was looking at Gabi's mug. Hey there, went to a swimming pool at 2 in the morning. Whoa, that's well past a reasonable bedtime, my guy. But I hope it was nice. Did the pool have lights? Was it like a light up one? Because pools with like lights in them look epic in the dark. Kadronk says, we ate and drunk a lot. Nice. Plenty of water, I hope. You gotta stay hydrated. Alright, let me just... How many bones do I want for the nose? I think I just want the one for the nose, I reckon. But I don't want it connected. So let me... Yeah, I don't want them connected like this. I think what I want... I'll just put... I'm gonna put the bones in kind of weird spots. So just bear with me, guys. I'm just gonna put them in just wherever I want them. Where I think is gonna be the easiest to control them from. So I think, yeah, having a bone there for the nose, I want it like that, and I just want it centered in the middle. Hey there, says chilling wind hits different in the morning. Oh, it had lights? Oh, cool. Oh, it wasn't heated? Oh, man. Yeah, that's not very poggers. Cold pools, yeah, I'm not a fan of cold pools. You gotta have warm pools. Jay says, I can't imagine rigging a tried mesh. Not too much different, but the extra lines would fry my brain. Thank you. Thanks for wishing me good luck. Well, yeah, look, a lot of people told me not to do... I don't know, there was something about like, oh, if you have tries, the weight painting is going to be all wrong. But I mean, I've done the rest of the body and it was fine. And I had to make them tries to do the normals anyway. So yeah, usually you wouldn't have to. But because this is anime and we want normals... you kind of need those tries there to control the normals. And that was, we did that on stream a while back. That was a bit of an ordeal, that. But, yeah, it's better that the tries are there first, I think, because if I try and go and add them after rigging, I can just see problems. So I like the idea of just rigging it, knowing that I'm not going to make more changes to this. I don't know, it just seems, well, yeah, because a lot of the time when I was doing the tries, I actually had to delete little chunks of vertices and remake them to get it to be right. Because the direction of the triangle does change the light. So I had to... So all of these going this way, that wasn't just triangular, like that wasn't Control-T triangular. I actually went and manually went to have them go that way, because they need to go that way for the shading. So that's why a lot of it's done like that. So I think doing weight painting after or before and then doing that after, oh no, that actually would be more of a nightmare, would you believe? So I'm not too, no, it's just, yeah, well, here's the thing with all the extra lines is that it looks cooler. It looks like it's more complicated. So, you know, like in those behind the scenes, game dev videos, and they have like a little documentary, and then the guy will have just like a wireframe open on his monitor, and it's like a barrel or something. When I was a kid, I thought that was the most high-tech thing in the world. So when you see more lines, well, it must be more complicated, right? It must be more technical. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the idea. So I can make it look more scary. So that's kind of funny, I guess. Now for the mouth, I think, let me think. I want middle, here, and the corner. That's what I want. That's the bones. I just gotta think about what way they should face. Because the thing is with Rigify, I'll show you how Rigify does it. And I should probably think of a... I'll name this. So this is deflip.t.l. I just gotta remember which way these go. Oh, that's not... I had another file open that had just the default humanoid rig with the bones, so I could just see what way they're meant to... Because they're meant to go a certain way. So I just want to make sure I'm... You know, if they have the bones going a certain way, there's probably a reason, so I want to try and stick to it. I think they go outward like that, so I'll do that too. Oh! Sorry, I was trying to move this other window on my other screen so I could see you guys. Oh, a message from Hyena Hairbrow. That's an interesting name. Who says, "Oh my god, I almost thought Project Feline was from a dream. It's been forever since I've seen a video about it." Well, yeah, sorry about that. It's been forever since I made a video about it, to be fair. Thanks for coming by there. I appreciate it. You've inspired me to go to 3D projects of my own. That's awesome, man. That's great. How do you have time to work on Project Feline while editing videos? Well, that's the neat thing. I kind of don't. That's why the videos have been kind of slowing down. So that's something I want to try and do something about that this year. Because I think I only released like 4 videos last year, which it's a big topic. I'll go into it a little because I've actually been thinking about this a lot. Because yeah, I think I do want to talk more about what I'm doing. There's just a well, there's an interesting thing when you work on something and when you talk about what you're doing, because let me think. I've done a lot of thinking on this. It's just where to begin. It's just complicated, I guess. One hiccup that I can more directly talk about is just the editing time, because yeah, I'll be honest, like because we hit the 100k subscriber milestone, which was cool. But to be real honest, I was actually kind of terrified when I hit that milestone, because I feel like when you see a creator that has like, you know, the creator award and the big number, there's like an expectation that it's like every video they do is going to be great. And the thing is, with game development, it isn't always great. There's like a lot of stuff that happens that is really not great. So there's this thing where what I try and do now is I try to kind of work long enough so that I have a collection of stories to tell and then turn those into videos. It isn't like what I kind of used to do earlier, where I would just every month I would say, oh, this month I did this and that, because I don't know, I don't enjoy watching stuff like that. So I thought I want to do something a bit more. You'll have a video and it's like a self-contained story of like, this is the story of how I did specific task. And the thing with those is I love telling the stories like that, and I put in a lot of work to do that. And it works, you know, people watch them, the channel's been growing, but to maintain and sustain that is difficult, because I feel like every time I post something, the quality bar gets higher and higher, and people expect more and more. And I've been trying to think about whether that's actually real or if that's just in my head. Because one thing I've been tempted to do is to lower the quality so that I can make things more often. But that's kind of terrifying, because it's like, well, if you lower the quality, because you don't know if that's what people are coming for, right? So if all of a sudden the videos become terrible production quality, the editing isn't as good and stuff, is that going to sabotage everything? And it's like, well, maybe. But I know something that definitely will be worse is if I say nothing. So that's, if I had to, because with the new year, I went on a little trip. I actually took a 3-day holiday, first time in years, just to not work on things, and had some time to reflect on that stuff. And I thought, one thing I kind of regret about last year is that I didn't upload as much, even though I actually made a lot of progress. That's the thing, is there's the upside of that is that I actually got a lot done. But none of you guys know about it. And it's like, well, I have to decide, is that something that, how do I want to handle that? Am I fine with that? And, while progress is good, I think it doesn't feel the same when I don't keep people in the loop, because I know a lot of you, especially the guys who have been following like since the beginning, you know, you've been invested in this journey with me, and I think you've probably been disappointed by my lack of activity publicly, and I don't, you know, and that's the thing. The recurring thought I'm having is the idea of disappointment. And this is something that maybe I'll make a video about if it's interesting enough. Because that's the thing, I want to make videos because when you work on a game, it isn't just developing a game. I find that as I've been doing this, I've also been developing myself at the same time to be the person that can make this game. And a lot of it is really nothing to do with game development at all. So I don't know if people will find it interesting, but it's a lot of just things I picked up on and things that I kind of wish people would have told me earlier. And there's a lot of things I've journaled down, but I've like thought about, oh, maybe this would make a good video, but it isn't a devlog. It's just kind of a, I don't know, it'd be just kind of a rant, I guess. And it's like, well, that might not be in the standard of what people expect. And I started thinking about that idea more. Expectations and disappointment. And hold on real quick, before I go off on this little tangent, I just want to change the camera draw distance because it's just a little too... I can't see what I'm doing, hold on. I just need to... There's a little button somewhere here that lets me adjust the clip plane for the camera. I just want to do that real quick before I continue. Here we go. Okay, now I can see inside. So as I was saying, one thing that held me back, I think, the year before last year was something called fear of failure. Some of you might be familiar with that. It's the idea that you're so terrified of making a mistake that you do nothing. But I think I got over that. I'm fine with that. But there's another challenge after that I think, unless you're making videos, you wouldn't really come across this problem. And this problem isn't really a fear of failure, but it's a fear of disappointment. And because that's the thing with development, like I said, there's a lot that isn't so glamorous. Like, I know people like watching feel-good videos and like seeing progress happen, but you know, there are setbacks a lot of the time. Things go wrong, developments, complications occur, and I think there was a lot of that last year that I haven't figured out how to talk about yet, because it's just complicated. Like, there was a lot of art that had to be thrown out, a lot of code that had to be thrown out, and it's just been a thing of, well, how do I talk about this in a way that like people would actually want to watch, you know? And I think part of that is, I don't know, because the thing is, a lot of that stuff happened, I learned a lot, I failed a lot, and I'm fine with that. I wasn't terrified of that. It's just when that becomes a fear of when other people are being let down. So that's something I've been pondering and thinking about, and I haven't quite figured out yet what the solution is, but I know what the solution isn't. And I think it gets to a point where if you're so worried about disappointing people that you say nothing, that's bad. That's kind of the furthest along that idea I've come across. But as for the solution, I don't know, maybe it's just to not care. Maybe that's the solution. That's the only logical thing I can come to anyway. So that's part of the reason why, like, I really do put in a lot of time and effort to the videos, and that's why they take a bit longer, is that I don't want to release something that's bad, you know? I really want to like put out stuff that's like really good, and I keep trying to raise that bar. So to get back to the initial question, yeah, so the devlogs, I have to kind of work on them intermittently as I'm doing progress on the game. So I'll spend a bit of the day on like editing, and then a bit of the day on the model or something, or programming something. And I do want to try and find a better way to manage that stuff. And I think if the videos were easier, that would help, but it would also mean I'd have to compromise something. So it's been a tough thing of trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? So just to kind of let you in on sort of, I guess, my thought process there. That's sort of how it is. Take 22 says, I think people need to stop looking at fear of failure as a death sentence. Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. Is that it isn't that that's not, I don't think that's what it is. I know what you mean though, a fear of failure, absolutely. The thing is, I mess up all the time, and I'm happy with it. Like, when I'm just there on my own, I get a lot of things wrong, and it's like totally fine, and I'm comfortable. And with the small, like with the Discord group I've got for my members, I'm happy to show them all the weird stuff that goes on. It's just when you have like when you have like 100,000 subscribers, that's when it starts that's when you start going, oh, like when I see that, I see there's an expectation. It isn't really that I'm terrified of failing, it's just that I'm terrified of like disappointing people, which is, I don't think those are the same. That's why I've been trying to kind of I've been trying to mull this over. Because yeah, if there were no eyes on it at all, that anxiety would completely vanish, and I would be like failing all the time and not being bothered. It's just, you know, when you know that there are expectations on you of a certain standard, I think that's when things become a little different. And I think the advice of fear of failure when you're a beginner, because the beginners don't get to that point because they don't, like, no one's watching them yet. So that's a bit of a different thing where they're afraid to fail in private. Like when they show no one, they're afraid of even touching and picking up the pencil because they're afraid of disappointing themselves, I think, or getting something wrong themselves. And that isn't what this is. I'm fine with that bit. It's just you know, it's the bit where you've got a standard to meet. I think that's where things kind of change. And I haven't seen that talked about as much because I don't know, I reckon it's probably a less in-demand topic, probably. But anyway, so with the mouth, let me just get on track real quick, and then I'll see what you guys have to say. There's a few ways I can go about doing the mouth, because the thing about these bones is that I'm just trying to think of where the weights would go. Because this bone would have like a group. Can I get the annotation? There should be an annotation tool, right? So this bone would influence this area, and that bone would influence this area, and then that bone. Yeah. So I just gotta think if that's really what I want. Do I want the bones to influence areas like that, or do I want to have it where it's not really the length of the bone, but it's like the points that are affecting the weights? I'm not quite sure. Just have to think for a little moment. I think what I want, I'm gonna try another approach. I'm not sure if I want it like this. Let me just delete those annotations. I think what I want is, oh, well, hold on. I might just leave them like that. There's something else I could try where the bones kind of stick out. I think I'm just gonna leave that alone though and move on to some other piece. Bergman says, so very deep, Mr. Feline. I mean, I guess, maybe. Well, Elijah, your comment. I think I think that's the conclusion I'm starting to come to. Because when I look at that, because those who have been following the Patreon and stuff, you've seen a lot of things that a lot of people haven't seen yet. Because I'm comfortable showing you guys, because I know it's just going to stay in that little group, and that you guys give me good feedback on it, and you know, I think maybe it's just because I'm like, I know this is hard to believe, but off camera I am an extreme introvert. Like I am very, I'm not a person that gets very energized by attention. I don't like having the spotlight on me, which is a weird. I know I'm a YouTuber, okay, but it's, you know, I didn't know people were gonna come here and watch stuff. So, you know, it's been an adjustment, and I think part of the things I've been journaling as well is, you know, learning how to present has been a skill I've been learning too. But that aside, I think Elijah has it on the head where I think not saying anything is the most disappointing. And I agree, because I look back at the last year and I'm honestly, I'm kind of let down with how I managed it. Even though progress on the game, like the game wise, I'm really happy with how things are going. But channel wise, I feel like I've failed. Not that I failed. Well, that's more like that I didn't meet my potential. That's sort of a more positive way to frame it, I guess. I could have said more if I had lowered my bar a little and wasn't so particular about things. So that's something I want to try and work on. That's part of the reason I hopped on stream today, in fact, because streaming is sort of it's a mechanism through which I can get used to having things not be perfect, you know what I mean? Because I can't edit these. I don't script things out. I just kind of work on stuff and show you everything that goes wrong here. And that's actually been helping a lot. But I know that a minority of you watch these, and it's not the people that like to come for the videos. And I know for you guys, I'm happy that I'm at least able to do this for the moment. But I think I've a lot of people that are kind of more interested in watching a well put together video. I think, yeah, I really want to serve those people a lot better. But that's the tricky bit, is like, can you do that also without delaying the game's schedule? And that's where things kind of get tricky as well. So, but hey, you know, I've got some experience now, right? I've been doing this for a bit. I'm confident I can work something out, I think. I just got to think about the jaw, because I got the jaw left. I think that's it. I've got the eyes, the eyebrow, the whatever this is, the fold, the eyelid, the nose, the mouth. I just need the jaw, and maybe the pupils as well. I think those, but I can do those at the end. But anyway, sorry, it's just a lot to chat and rig. I'll quickly have a glance at what you got, because I know you guys probably have some things to say. That one talking flower says, I'm developing a game, I want to show the work I've done on it, but I suck at editing. So if I started doing devlogs, then I would have less time to work on the game because of how long videos take. Well, yeah, that's part of the reason why I kind of slowed down a bit too, but I mean, well, you guys can tell me, because I haven't actually asked anyone this. I've just been kind of battling this out in my head. Because with to give you an idea, I think I've got 5 scripts in production right now for episodes. And those, typically, a script will take about maybe half a week to a week, depending on the subject. Editing will take about 2 weeks. Thumbnail will take about a day or 2. And I think that's kind of it. Some of the more complex ones, like the last one I made about the combat, I actually redid that one. I made a cut of it, and I showed my patrons it, but I wasn't really happy, because it didn't feel, like, it just felt wrong. Like, the pacing was all wrong, and I was like, I could do better than this. So I reshot half of it, re-edited it, and that was like another few weeks of production to get that out. And here's where it gets tricky, right? Is that the video did pretty well. And I was rewarded for all that extra time I spent. So part of me is like, well, if I don't put in an extra work, is it over? So, you know what I mean? But then if I didn't, would that initial cut I made that I didn't like, would that still have been fine? And I'll never know that because I didn't publish it. But that's something I'm trying to reassess that and think, am I putting my standards too high? Because to be honest, the actual videos I watch don't actually have that much effort put into them. So if you're worried about your editing standards, I mean, think about the stuff you watch. Think about the stuff you just put on in the background or whatever. And try and think about, well, how much time would they have actually spent editing this thing? And I'm finding, now that I've been paying attention, I'm finding most of the time, there are some categories of videos where they kind of go a bit over the top. Like, one thing that's kind of been irritating for me lately is, there was some channel I was watching, and there was just too much effects. Like, every word the guy would say, he had like the text animation on the screen with like 3D word art and whoosh sound effects, and every transition had a blur thing on it, and it was just a bit much. Like, I just thought, oh, okay, this guy hired an editor on Fiverr, and he's having, he's having a bit too much fun. So I can kind of see maybe like, all right, well, maybe there is definitely such a thing as over editing, but is there such a thing as under editing? And that's the thing I'm trying to work out where the threshold is there. But yeah, when I go look back at my older stuff, I'm actually kind of amazed, because I think, man, the audio's like, there's literally episodes where the audio is peaking the whole time, and people still watched it, and it's like, oh, maybe I don't need to worry as much about that stuff, maybe, but you know. But yeah, I think a lot of the work will usually be the voiceover, because I like to make sure I'm not slurring my words, that the diction is right, that it sounds, that it doesn't sound too monotone. There's a lot of work. If you really want to see how much work it is, if you become a YouTube member or something, and if you go to my Discord chat, I'll post like screenshots and stuff there of like when I'm working on videos, and it might shock you. You might be a little scared. But it's because I love them. I love making them. It's just, I'm trying to think of how can I make them more without them being bad. is the question. So, real quick, hold on, real quick. I want to read chat in just a bit. I know this turned into a bit of a just chatting stream, but I really want to get the bones in place for the cheek, and I want to start weight painting in the next few minutes. So, yeah. So let me just quickly do that. So yeah, like with this, for instance, the character thing, there's going to be a devlog on this, and it's going to be a pretty big one. And I want to do a big one for this because, you know, I think with the last one, the last time I did the character, I turned it into 5 episodes. And that was a lot of work. That was like 6 months of doing the model and editing videos. It was a lot. And I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe this time around, I'll just do one, maybe a 40-minute one instead of like 5 20-minute ones. And, you know, that one's probably going to be easy to do because it's about characters, and I can talk about characters nonstop. So scripting, that's going to be pretty easy. But when it comes to the more technical, like programming, I tend to have I have to really like think about the script and go, oh, well, how do I want to word this, you know? So I spend a lot of time thinking about writing, using the right, you know, what to leave in, what to leave out. But let me just, hold on, I just gotta concentrate on the jaw. I think what I want to do for the jaw, because I want to have a bone to control the middle that I can just rotate, which I think I've already got. I think I've already got one that opens the jaw, but I want to have, I'm just looking, because I have a document open here of Arc System Works rigging, and they seem to have 2 bones for the jaw, and then they have a few bones for the sides of the cheeks. So I just want to think carefully here about how I want to go about this. Because there needs to be one for the back, one for like here, and then one to control like just the chin, not the jaw, sorry, the chin, that's it. So I will just, yeah, let me try this again. So I think, yeah, I want to have these like sticking out like little pins of controlling, because I just want to have like kind of influence a certain area here. I don't know what I'm going to call these yet. Maybe I'll call this cheek. Def cheek. And then, I think I want, there's got to be something that kind of controls like the fat here a little. So I'll take this and move it to the back. Like that. And then the rest of it is going to be mostly, I think the jaw is going to take the weights for most of this area, but I just want little, I guess, I don't know, these might be more like handles than actual bones, like just so I can pinch certain areas. I don't want to go not too much, but just having a little bit, because I think the Rigify one had all, like this whole bit under the eyes, I'm not going to bother with bones there. We don't need any bones there. But the sides of the face, because that can affect the shape of the face a lot. So I want to make sure that there's enough work, well, you know, there's enough stuff there I can use to control how the shape of the face. So this is going to control kind of the side, and then this one is this was probably going to be handy if I'm doing the mouth a lot and I need to move the cheeks out more, if this is what this bone could be used for. And then we'll have like something for the jaw. So yeah, I'm not 100%. I'll have to look at some more Arc System reference to make sure that this is like what I want. Because they have, oh my god, like Arc System Works rigging is, I'm trying to stick to it, but a lot of it is a lot of the stuff I won't apply. Like they have a lot of stuff with clothes and capes, which Gabi doesn't have, so I'm not gonna try and do that sort of thing. But in terms of their faces, they have to do a lot of bone work on that, and I'm gonna try and do the best I can with it, but I think I'm gonna learn a thing or two as I do it, probably, as I always do. So let me just okay, so I think I want this sort of bone here for the kind of just to control like the edge of the chin if I want to move it around, just independently of the jaw. I think that'll make for a good, so I'll call this def chin. And I gotta think, is there more I'm missing? Let me hide the meta rig, because this is becoming a little distracting. Oh, thanks so much. Oh my god, Matthias Borge. Thank you so much for gifting 10 whole memberships. What a champion. Everyone give a round of applause to Matthias Borge in chat. Thanks so much. I know you've been a long time member, and I really appreciate the support, man. I really do. So here's like, you guys don't have it. I hope you have a drink. I have one, as it would so happen. But cheers to hopefully another cool year of content for you guys, for the members, for everyone. Thanks so much. Yeah, everyone, is there a clap emoji? I don't know. I'm just gonna type, yeah, everyone just type clap. Type clap in chat, guys, for Matthias. While I'm on chat, I'll take just a little time to rest my eyes from the bones and the weights to read some of your input on what I've been talking about for the last few minutes. Code Cadrock says the concept of making less videos is scary when you consider the devlogs as part of the marketing. Precisely. So yeah, one of the reasons I've been stocking things up. I have been stocking up, hoarding them for the winter, some videos. But I think that I'm not happy with the big gaps. I want to have less gaps. But also, you know, a lot of the YouTubers I really admire are the type of guys that will just like release a big video every so often, because those are usually very well put together, like H-Bomber guy stuff. I really like sort of the attention to detail and just the comprehensiveness. Now, I don't have the funds or the patience to make a 3-hour video every year, but that's the kind of stuff I really like. Those are the videos I remember, is those types of ones where it's just a huge deep dive on some topic, and it's just a really great, like, it's like a experience. Like, it's the kind of thing you'd show to your friends and sit down and watch. I love, like, that stuff I love watching, but producing it, of course, is costly, and it might not work in the context of marketing a game, that's for sure. And there was another message here from someone. I'm just sorry. I keep forgetting how much messages I get on stream, so forgive me if I don't get to them all. Hey, in a hairbrow says you make the process look so easy. Oh, I don't know about that, man. But if you say so, I'm failing to move forward with programs and such because I'm stuck with character design. Well, yeah, character design is complicated. Yeah, there's a lot of things to get stuck on. You just gotta persist through it. You just gotta practice a lot. That's what helped me anyway. Giovanni says, honestly, I like your live streams. Thank you. I enjoy doing them when I can. Yeah, I kind of had to taper them off at the end of last year because I was not getting any sleep. And I just had other stuff to work on that wasn't the character. And I was like, oh, well, I need to take a little rest. But I want to try and keep this up if I can. Oh yeah, Sabrina, yeah. H-Bomber guy also has like lots of patrons, so yeah, that'll work for him, no problem. On the top of my rigging, have I rested around with squats and stretch? Yes, so the body does do that. I can stretch out the arms and the legs and the thighs and the torso. I can do it all. We're going to see a lot of that in action when I start animating it. So we're going to have lots of smear frames. Like when she actually, I do have a bit of that on the old model where when she jumps, she actually like stretches up like a cat would. But because it's only a frame long, I don't think most people have noticed it. But I'm going to try and kind of go further with that stuff once I get all the bones and everything done. But yeah, we do have a bit of that. I'm not sure how much of that will go into the face. I mean, I guess by default, you kind of have squash and stretch anyway. If you just weight things to bones and move the bones, they'll just squash to wherever they are. So we should have no problems there. Let me just think. Bones. How many more bones do I want? Oh, pupils. I don't have ones for pupils yet. I should do those. Let me find the pupils. Because, yeah, in terms of devlog and content and stuff, I was talking about this with a friend the other day, and he suggested something to me. I'll pass it on to you guys, see what you reckon. One thing a friend of mine recommended was like every week uploading like a stand-up, like a very low production value stand-up of what's going on, or maybe once a month, because yeah, what goes on week to week is probably not enough, I think, at least, but maybe once a month having some kind of just no editing, kind of like I would do here on stream, but for like 10 minutes or something. So that's a suggestion I've had. I have my own thoughts about it, but I'll see what you guys reckon. I just gotta, where do I want to put the eyes? I think, okay, I think what I want this to go behind the eye, like this. Because here's something cool I can do. If I put it here, if I'm smart about it, I can do something cool if I have the bone rotating from this pivot point. Because I can oh, not like that. But if I rotate the bone like this, from this, where it's back into the, it's like, it'll act like an eyeball. So if I weight the entire eye to the end of this, then if I move this up and down, the eye will go like that and move up and down the socket. So that would actually work a lot better than the Rigify solution. So I'll give this a name. We'll call this def eye, or maybe pupil .l. How did you do the topology for the hip? I think, like, kind of, well, it's a bit complicated, but the basic idea is it doesn't really matter too much. You just got to make sure you have a gap here where the leg and the where it connects to the pelvis. Having this kind of gap helps, because then you can, like, again, the way I said earlier in stream is you got to think of these edges as strings, and when you have this part of the leg and this hip, these strings are essentially pulling up the leg. So when I contract the leg, these big stretchy vertices get contracted. And if you have more vertices there, if you have more edges there, it's going to be harder. So that's something I found helpful, is just leaving that all empty and allowing the vertex weights to kind of do the work. So it doesn't look very detailed, but I guess it doesn't really have to be for that angle, right? And the same thing for the arms and knees and everything. So that's how I kind of did it there. I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll do. But yeah, those were definitely the hardest part of the body for sure. Let me just get rid of the roll. Have you fixed the... Yes, I have fixed the waist. I think there's only one little piece that is not right, and that's the armor, because the what I did is that the oh, I'm in the skeleton edit mode. 1 second. Because what I did was the armor has the undersuit layer, which actually uses a copy of the base. This is the base humanoid layer. So I've actually taken a chunk of this and I've masked off just the knees, the hips, and I think that's it. And then I've modeled the armor around it, but I did that before I finished rigging it. So what I'm gonna have to do to solve that is I'm going to need to make another copy of the undersuit with the correct weights, or I can try and transfer the weights, but I don't know how that's gonna go. So I think I would rather just mask out the undersuit layer again because that's going to preserve the weight paints, and then just, you know, take off because what I've done is I've actually taken off, when I have the suit on, I've taken off some bits. Oh, that's oh yeah, that's the current one. So this is just the suit, and it has a copy of her legs, which I just need to copy these bits again, but with the correct weights. The other bits are just hidden, so it doesn't clip, but it uses the ankles, the knees, and this torso, the hips. But it's the identical topology, it's just the weights on this one haven't been updated yet. So that's the plan. That's the only tweaking I have to do for that. Okay. I just gotta think carefully now about... Okay, so I've got teeth, tongue, jaw, mouth, which... I want to try weighting this. I might not like how it is, but I just want to see how this goes. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna... No, I think I want to do it a little differently for the mouth. These parts of the jaw... Let me just think for a moment. I think I could probably... Because what I've just done here, I've just kind of made these as little, like, bits that pinch like the skin, but I think I want to have them flush on the skin because I'm gonna get confused looking at them sticking out like this. So I think what I would like, because I gotta think about where this should influence. So I think what I want to do is move these to kind of where they would be influencing stuff. Oh no, actually maybe I had it right, because I gotta remember too that this will affect, depending on where I put these, it affects where, like, the pivot, like how it'll work. So I think maybe I had it right. I think this might be fine. Because it affects the rotation and stuff. So because what I want to be able to do is like take this and rotate it like that and have the cheek kind of rotate. Because if I move the bone and have it aligned differently, the weights might be the same, but the way it moves will be different. So so the actual placement of the bones will affect this. So I just got to think carefully about how do I want to move things. I think we'll see how we go with these. I think with the mouth though, I want to try something else, because I think with the Arc System Works rigs I've seen will tend, for the face specifically, they actually I don't know, because they have them all with controllers, so it's a bit hard to make out. Maybe this will do. I just got to think about the middle. How is the middle gonna work? If I have these bones here, because let me try and rotate these and move them. How do I want this to go? Well, I don't... No, I think these bones might need to go the other way. I don't want to move them like this. How do I want to move them, though, is the question. I think what I want... I just gotta think if I want them to be linked or parented or not. Because I don't have any parenting going on yet, really, because of how I've done this. I just gotta think. Because I think with the mouth, I want to have one bone that kind of parents the mouth. Which... Oh, I just gotta... Because I haven't done it like this in a while, so I just gotta think. But I think I want each kind of... I want to have, like, pins to control the pinch of the mouth, and I don't think the bones this way would work. Because I don't think I want to be rotating the bones. Or maybe I do, but yeah, I think I want to have them sticking out like that, because what I want to be able to do is rotate the bone so that it kind of comes out like that, which I can't do as easily if the bones are positioned this way, unless and if I try and do it like that, it's going to move it like the entire mouth, which I want to be able to control these individually. So I'll try this again, because I don't think that'll give me the outcome I want doing it like that. So I'll try. It's just, yeah, I think this is just the only bit I gotta tweak up, and then I can start weighting them. And with the weights, I'll try and start with the easy stuff, like the chin and stuff, and the teeth and tongue should kind of be done already, probably. If the naming convention, if it's recognized, that should already work. So yeah, I think what I want is, yeah, being able to essentially take one of these in like pose mode, rotate it like that, and have the mouth kind of rotate like that, rotate it up, and then be able to move it up and down and have the lip follow that piece. So I think that will work better for that kind of, if that's my goal. So I'll move this to somewhere I can pivot it where I would want it, because I want it to kind of pivot there. If I rotate it like this, I want it to pivot from this point. So I'm not, so that's the thing, because usually when I look at bones like this, I think about the entire thing, whatever this middle bit's called. But I think for the face, I'm really thinking more about this bit, just the ends, because that's the bit that's gonna be important, is where they pivot. The rest of the bone doesn't really matter. Like wherever this goes is irrelevant. Doesn't matter which way this goes, really. It just helps, because if it goes sideways, I mean, I guess it'll work the same. It'll make it harder for me to intuitively look at the bone and tell what it does. So I think if I do this intuitively and just have them facing outwards from pivot points, that's what I want. It's just, yeah. I guess for a bit of context too, this will be the first time I've actually rigged a face manually, because every other time I've just done Rigify. So if I get stuff wrong, or if it takes me a while to figure things out, that's why. But I always figure things out. I always do. It always works out. Just takes a bit of trial and error. So I might turn on opacity so I can see where this is all, because I just got to think, where do I want this to pivot? Where do I want that to pivot? I think I want it pivoting about maybe a bit lower. I think I want it here. I want it to pivot here. So I gotta think where that is for Gabi. I think her pivot would be a bit lower. And I gotta make sure I don't rotate these in pose mode too. So yeah, that's where I want it to pivot, so that, yeah, so if I rotate it down, the lip will kind of do that. What else? There's more, because then there's the other parts of the mouth too. And I gotta make sure I keep an eye on the names. So this would be lip BL. That's what that would be. And then this would be L. Yeah, this is named right. So I'll make a copy of this. And we'll have it kind of like there. By the way, I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm just listening through my headphones. I can kind of hear crickets outside. I don't know if you can hear them. I can surely hear them, and I think I can hear them double through my fallback. So if that's what that is, that's just classic Australian weather, is what you're hearing. That is the sound of summer. I think they're crickets. I know America, it's a bit worse. You guys get cicadas, which terrify me. I don't know how you guys handle those. Because I think they shed, don't they? I've heard stories where I think it's like every some amount of years, I don't know how many years, but every so often in the States, at least in the southern parts that I know about, it's like the cicadas will all hatch at once, and it's just cicadas everywhere all the time. And they all like leave their shells and stuff everywhere. I don't know. You guys can verify whether that's true. I haven't been to the States in a long time. What else? I think, yeah, then I want to learn a little, I think I want, and then one for the corner. I want a bit for the corner of the mouth. Oh, okay, so you guys do have them. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's rough. That would irritate me so much. The constant noise. So yeah, like here, I mean, yeah, maybe you can hear them, but I reckon in America it'd be a lot louder. Like, I've heard that it can be like deafening. Like you have to shout at people to hear them loud. Here it isn't as much. It's just kind of ambient noise that does get a little irritating. But I guess it blends in after a while. Once you get used to them, you kind of stop hearing them. Oh. Because if I have a bone there, I'll try and angle it so it kind of matches the topology. The idea is that I can use this to kind of pinch the corner of her mouth with this bone. So, let me turn off transparency. It's a bit hard for me to see too. The idea is that I think these should Yeah, I should be putting these like where the edge... Yeah, so there's in the middle of 2 edge loops, and then this one's in the middle of 2 edge loops as well. Should I... Do I need more? I don't think I'll need more edge loops for the mouth. That should do fine. So then I'll do the bottom. So I think, yeah, I definitely want one... Like, I'll do this along the bottom there. So it's in between these 2 loops. So I won't put them where their gaps are, because it won't really do much there. So this will be L... def lip B, L. And then I'll put one, I think that should work. I might need to move some of those edges around for rigging, because I didn't really think about, I think that should be more to the middle, that edge. It doesn't look right. So I'll move the bone where I think it should go, and then we'll move the edge over. And I might have to, it might mess the normals a little, but it's only a one edge, so we shouldn't be too bad. Cool. Oh, I'm just trying to get rid of the roll. I don't like having roll on my bones. I think that's all I think that's it. Bone-wise. But yeah, I'll need to move that edge over. And I think this should come out a bit. I'm just trying to get it to kind of follow the topology, because I reckon just from messing around, I tend to find that the more it kind of follows where the edges go, the easier. Usually. Not always, but usually. Alright. So the idea with these, I might make them a little longer, so they're a bit easier to... Oh wait, actually, instead of dragging them, there might be a length. Yeah, I can just adjust the length. I'll make them all the same length, that'll be easier. So I'll do maybe 0.1? Maybe 0.15? Yeah, I like that. I'm liking that. There we go. Okay, that'll be easier to manipulate. Giovanni says, I don't know if this cricket's on stream because there are a lot around me already. Well, yeah, that's what it is. It isn't me. I'm not making the noise. It's you. You have the crickets. Reminds me a bit of, like, you know when you watch videos and they'll have like a door knock sound and you like flinch? That's like me, but I have crickets instead to make you think you're in my part of the wilderness, in my part of town. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a new era of immersive entertainment. It's so immersive that you can hear the crickets that I hear, and it's also miraculously 27 degrees for all of you now. Man, that'd be something, wouldn't it? Being able to, because I think with media, you've got audio and visual and like VR, but imagine if we had like temperature and smell. That would, you would never go into the real world again with that. Like, imagine the next VR thing has an air conditioning unit built in that controls the room so that when you go into like a cold level into a video game, the temperature gets to like freezing. That'd be something. That's my, do not steal, that's my idea. I'm patenting that now. Alright, so now that I reckon I'm happy with those bones. Is there any others I'm not thinking about? I've got the eye, eyebrow, crease, mouth, jaw, chin, cheeks. I'm not fully confident with where the cheekbones. I think there might be one I also need. I do need just something to kind of manage this up a bit, so I'll add one more just for this upper half because I don't have anything there. And then I think we'll try and add some weights and see what happens. I don't know if I should try auto or just blank and just do them all manually. I think I'll do that actually. I'll start and I'll map everything to the head and then I'll start going in and weighting what I think should go where. So this yeah, because the idea is with these, if I rotate them from pivots, it should be able to like pinch the bones a certain way. So if I rotate it like that, it should kind of sag at the cheek. This one should sort of do the same thing with the lower part of the jaw. And that should, I'd be able to move that around for this part. And, oh, there's a bone on the nose that's missing, I think. I swear I had a bone on the bridge of the nose. I must have deleted it by accident. So I'll make sure I add that back. All right, let's fix you, because yeah, there's meant to be something on the bridge. All right, we'll call this nose. And this, oh wait, no, did I not duplicate it? Okay, no. The bamboozled again. I thought I hit duplicate. Okay, there we go. Now we've got it. Now we've got it. Mission accomplished. So I'll just move you in place, little guy. All right. I'm happy with that, I think. Let's... Oh, well, here comes the challenge, because one thing I didn't think about yet is merging, because it has... You can't assign one mesh to multiple rigs. Impossible. So I'll have to figure out a way to transplant this onto the rest of the rig without breaking it. That's going to be fun. There is a way. I know that if I'm smart about it, it'll work. I think it's just a matter of getting it on the right layer. There'll probably be other stuff I can do later, turning these into controllers, but I'm really just more concerned of the vertex. Anything to do with deforming. I just want to get that out of the way. Now, if I recall... Well, first, let me just check the names, because it's important I get that before I touch anything else. And I think I've just... Oh, the eyebrow is not going to work because I don't want it to be... Do I want it to be hierarchical like that? Actually, yeah, that might be fine. I could probably leave that alone. But I should probably make... I need to start parenting stuff before I do anything first, actually. So all of the mouth, I might make a bone that just has... It just kind of groups all this. And because I think what would be neat is if I can just control the entire mouth with one thing, or I can just move it around. So I will add a bone for that. And I'll call this like mouth or something. And then I'll parent, yeah, because I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about deforming, but I gotta do parenting as well. So we'll call this deaf, or would it be called deaf? I don't think it would. It would be called something else, because this is not going to be a deformed bone. I'll just call this mouth. I'll, or, well, actually, let me look at, because I know the meta rig has, from Rigify, has little parent bones like this that aren't deformed bones. So let me just check. Oh, okay, well, they do it a little different to how I've been doing it, but let me just look at, because they just kind of parent everything to the first bone, which, maybe that might work. I think actually, do I want to do it like that? Because yeah, I'm just looking at how Rigify does it, and it looks like for their deform layer, they don't have any just stray parent bones. They parent things to just the deformed bones. So I think seeing as I've stuck to their naming convention, I'll do the same here as well. So that will mean... what will that mean? I think what that will mean is that well, let me think. Because I think what they then do, if I wanted to have a bone that controls just the mouth and will move the entire mouth, they would do that not using a deformed bone. They would do that using a controller on a different layer, and they would have the bones parented. They would have controllers for each node of the mouth that would then be parented to just a master controller for the mouth, and then the bones would be told to follow each of those. So the bones themselves would not have parenting, and maybe to the head. That would be like to the head bone. They would all be parented to the head bone, but that would be all. Everything else would be kind of separate, I think, and it would be handled through controllers. So because it's been a while since I've done that manually, I just have to think, because if you make the wrong choice here, it can, it'll be bad. So I just got to think carefully. How do I want to do that? So I think, no, we don't want to, I think we do deliberately want to just keep it as bones that only control vertices. No parent bones, no groups, yeah, just that. I think the groups and the controllers will come after. So with that in mind, let me just try moving some of these around. So okay. I'm liking how these are moving. I'd really like the eyes, sort of controlling them from behind the eye. I really like that. It's just where's the jaw? Oh, it's inside. I think, yeah, I have to mark this as see-through because it's not showing me all of the bones. So if I go to, where is it? In front. There we go. There's everyone. All right. So this bone, I think that would also be a controller thing too, because I think what would happen is once I get to it, the cheek, mouth, chin, all of that would be controlled by a controller of some kind, and it'd be weighted to it a certain way. And then that would all be then parented to a controller for the jaw. So the actual deformed bones would not be, I don't think those would be connected. And I can verify that real quick. If I get the meta rig back up. Yeah, I think it's all just parented to one thing. I don't think they parent them to each other. If it is, will it let me enter edit mode? Come on. Come on. Oh, maybe I'm still in edit mode for the face. Ah, I am. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. Come on, object mode, please. There we go. I just want to really make sure I've got this before I commit to trying to weight it. To transplant it to the rig. I guess that's going to be the next stage, probably. So I'm just looking at the parent lines, and I don't see any. So, all right, we'll do it like that too. Okay. So now that that's there, I'll save. We will need to mirror these. And there is a way to do it. I just got to remember how. How do you mirror? I know there's a way. There's like some keyboard shortcut where you can mirror bones. I'm just. Oh, I need to make the names. I got to make sure that these have the right suffix. This should have an L suffix. Because if you don't do that, the mirroring won't work. Because the mirror, it'll basically, what should happen is it copies the bones. If it's got a prefix .l or .r, it should just mirror them. But if it doesn't have that prefix, it won't work. So I don't have them all for everything. So I'll make sure I do that. And I think I'll name this to cheek. I'll have them ascending down in name. That will be cheek 1, and then this will be cheek 2. And then it needs to be def.cheek2.l.002. So I'll make sure I add that. .l. And let's check the eyebrows. The eyebrows look good. Oh, this is named wrong. This has to be defbrow.b. Oh no, it already is, but it has to be .l as well. There we go. T for top, and then the side. B, bottom, then a left. Okay, that's correct. The eye, oh, thanks so much, hey there, for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it, my guy. You will now get early access to the next video I make. And if you want to see how that's going, make sure to join the members Discord, which I think you'll get by linking your Discord and your YouTube account together into one account. No, it doesn't make it one account, but if you link them, you'll get an invite. Thanks so much. Right-click symmetrize. That's right. Yeah, thanks. That's the. Yeah, I just gotta make sure that these are all. I think I didn't. Did I name the mouth? Let me just triple check. And man, I'm getting hungry. So I'll probably. I'll try and get this onto the melded with the rest of the rig, and then I'll have to go eat. Lip top left, lip top left 1, lip top left 2, lip. Well, this isn't really on the top or bottom, so I've just called this def lip L, and then lip B, lip B, lip B L. Okay, yeah, that's all named. Def tongue, def tongue, def tongue. I don't think these are named right. I think these are named backwards, but I will verify and check that. Oh no, they are. Wait. No, hold on. Let me turn on this. So this, oh, well, that's interesting. So for whatever reason, I'm probably not going to do it like this, but for whatever reason, the in this Rigify version I have, the tongue is like the bones go backwards. There's probably a reason, but I don't know. Maybe it's an IK thing. I don't know. Do I want to do it like that is the question. Because yeah, the bones, they start at the end and then go backwards. There's probably, yeah, I mean, there's probably some IK thing they've got configured to it, and I just gotta ask myself, do I want to do that same kind of thing? So let me move the one moment. I need to just examine this to see how they've done it. Because yeah, like, don't get me wrong, there are things from Rigify I like, but it's got more than what I need. So I'm trying to kind of preserve some of the functionality it has that I do like, because I like how it does the mouth. That is fine. It's just why? Okay, when I turn off armature, it still follows it, which is a bit irritating. Oh, what? This isn't okay. Oh, it might be parented. That could be it. So let me clear parent. Okay, now I should be able to move the rig. There we go. I just gotta look at it. So if I go to all this other stuff, because it has all these other layers of the Rigify rig, because it has, where's the tongue? So the tongue has, the tongue has this controller on it, which lets you kind of move it. Maybe, oh, well actually, we might be able to actually get those exact pieces in our own rig if we go about this a certain way. Because I think these are just modular chains. So, because I like how it controls the tongue, because it's just, you just move one bone, it's very easy. So maybe, and the teeth I like too. So, if I might be able to mark them as a chain type, and it might generate the same, it might generate those same controllers without doing the rest of the face. I think we can do that. I just need to have a close look at what these are called. So this, can you copy bones from one armature to the other? Because if so, I could just copy these straight over. I think you can do that. Yeah. So I'm just looking at it because the teeth and tongue I actually think are perfect. So what I might do, I for whatever reason I didn't catch this when I was doing this the first time. But I think what I can do here, I'll move this back to where it was. I'll make a non-destructive copy. And I will remove everything, or actually, I'll be a bit more. What I'll do is if I could just select these. I'm gonna separate, because I think the separate commands works on bones too, right? Yeah. So if I just move those. Oh, I don't want to delete them. No, I just want to move them. So if I delete that copy, then I've just got these bones left, which is the bones I want. And if I just put those in the same spot, hey, I actually don't even need to move them. And then I just get rid of the ones that I put there. I'll save first, of course. Humanoid face. So if I just, yeah. I can get the same controllers there already, which would be scrumptious. That'd be awesome. So I just delete those. I leave the jaw. And then I get the, wherever I just put them. These, I think. No. Oh no, I want them from the meta. I think I copied them from the wrong skeleton. Yeah. I copied them from the final rig. Yeah, so that I need to copy it from the meta rig. That's right, because the bones on the meta rig are slightly different. Because it should generate those bones with the script. So just to make sure I don't break it, I'll copy the. Oh wait, I'll copy that again, and just get everything. Just these. Separate. Perfect. Now it'll work the way I want. And then all I have to do is just, if I just join those, yeah, there we go. Where's the tongue? Oh wait, where's the tongue? Did it not take the tongue with it? I don't think it took the tongue. Oh no, it did, but the tongue vanished? Okay, the tongue vanished. That's interesting. Because, yeah, there should be that tongue bit when I join them. Let me save. It kept the teeth, but the tongue is, maybe it's the way it's parented. Oh, no, it's not parented to anything. Huh. Let me try that again. Control J. Yeah, that is funny. The tongue just vanishes. Well, let's see if they show up in the hierarchy here at all, in the outliner. It should just be called def. Yeah, okay, well they're in here, but I can't see them. Where did it put them? Where did you go? Come back. They're in here though, they're in the hierarchy. They're just gone? Okay, no, I think I might be under why that might. I have a game theory. I think I might know why that's going on. Not gonna lie, that's funny though. Not gonna lie. Okay. Maybe I need to apply transforms. And then... control... Oh, no, still didn't work. That is peculiar. Unless maybe I've already got a bone with those names that I've left in without realizing. Which... I will check. I swear I deleted them though. You guys saw me delete them. No, there's no tongue in here. So it isn't being superseded by some other bone. But it's just doesn't want those tongue bones. It just doesn't want them. It likes the teeth fine. It lets me do the teeth, but not anything else. Unless maybe I parent it the other way around. Control J. Okay, that works. For whatever reason. It works when I parent it the other way around. So that's funny. I'll apply transforms. And I'll just... I don't know why, but I'll rename this to Meta Rig Face. And or I might... Or... I don't know how this is gonna go, actually, when I try and weld this to the rest of the skeleton. I honestly don't know. Because I've got bits that are meant to be for the meta rig in here, and bits that are meant to not be on the meta rig in here. Unless... Well... Because, okay, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Here's the thing I'm predicting will happen. I think if I try and join this with how it is... I think I'm gonna have problems. I think what's gonna happen is... Oh, actually, I'll try it. We'll see. I actually don't know. I think if I just join this to the meta rig, it might work. But if I try and join it to the generated rig, it might not. But I will. If it works just joining to the meta rig, then we will be fine. So I'll create another copy of this just in case, and I will, what will I do? I will turn this on. This is the meta rig. We're gonna regenerate this with those extra bones. So if I make a copy of the face, I'm just making copies just in case something goes wrong. And I will join those all. So now it's turned them all into sticks because I've got it. Oh, I forgot to mirror them. That's right. Let me go back then and I'll mirror them first. That'll make more sense. So I've got the mirror and so what was it? It was like right click symmetrize or something. Symmetrize. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Hey, and it named. Let me just double check the names because sometimes it doesn't always do them right. But that looks good. Yep, that's nice. That's fantastic. So now, make a copy of that. Try and join it to the duplicate meta rig, if it will allow me. It has allowed me to. Okay, that is now one. Now, if I try and regenerate this, the big moment. Let's see what happens. Successfully generated humanoid rig 01. Fantastic. All right, well, let's see. Okay, the only thing is that all the bones will vanish because they are on the deform layer. Well, they should be on the deform layer. They might not be. Okay, they are. Great. They are on the deform layer, so they're in there. They just don't have any controllers on them. But I have a hunch that as long as the deform bones stay where they are, and if I keep them the same names, I think I might be able to just do the weights and then worry about controllers afterwards. That's my game theory. Because I don't want to really get too much into controllers today because I need to do more research on those first because it's been a while since I've set up them. I think the last time I set up a manual controller was in Maya, so I'm very rusty and I need to do some reading. But I do know the weight painting bit like the back of my hand, and I think I'm confident I can do all that before the controllers. It's just, I don't think these will do anything yet. Well, actually ooh. Wait. I can't move them though. That's a problem. That's a problem I didn't foresee. So the bones are they're in there. It's just we can't move them. And I need to be able to move them. And I think it's probably okay, no, I think I know why. It's because in Rigify with this thing I've got, they've probably locked, I think that's probably what's happened. They probably locked the deform layers so that you can't move them. They can only be moved by controllers, even if no controller exists. That's the only logical explanation. So that means I might have to do controllers after all. So I won't be able to really move these around if they're on the deform layer. But let's have a look at the tongue and see what happened there. Because that we still might, that might work. Because yeah, that's the only kind of thing with Rigify is that you kind of have to, you're kind of bending it. And because I wanna cooperate with Rigify because it actually works really well for the rest of the body. And I wanna stay on good terms with Rigify and do things how it wants it, but also doing what I want. So I know it will introduce challenges like this, but I think it's worth it with what it does for the rest of the body. The tongue seems to be fine though. Let me just hide the mirror so you guys can actually see inside and what's going on. I think the tongue and teeth are preserved. Oh, or not. Okay, it doesn't seem to be following. Maybe I've named the bones wrong or something. But the skeleton works fine. Actually, wait a minute. Okay, but I think I've just got this parented wrong. I think it actually would work. It's for whatever reason, the armature is not following this. So I think I just need to reparent it. Oh, no. Because I deparented it from the old rig. I think if I just parent it to the new one. Oh no, it's still not working. I've got the armature on though. Oh no, it needs to, wait a minute. Oh, oh, I had it disabled in the viewport display. Okay, now it works. Pardon that hiccup. Now I should be able to, yeah, okay, that works fine, and that has the stretchiness too. That's why Rigify is cool sometimes, is that it has this, which I want. And it would allow me to move these teeth as well. Although the teeth, the weights are a little weird. When I rotate them, they shouldn't squash. I don't know why they do that. Oh, actually, that isn't actually bad. Maybe they should, because then it stays in the mouth. It means it won't clip outside the mouth. That's actually, I didn't notice that. That's pretty handy, actually. Cool, all right. So those are fine. It's just, you can't, yeah, I didn't know that you couldn't just have deformed bones movable. And maybe there is a way to unlock it, but that would unlock the whole layer. I don't want to do that because I want to leave the rest of it alone. So I'll have to work out a way to make, or actually, well, here's the other thing I was thinking earlier before I tried this out. The thing I was thinking would happen is I might have to mark those deformed bones as Rigify types, which I didn't want to do, but it might work. Because as it would so happen, Rigify does give you basic chains that just will act as pivot points and the like, and those might work. So I'll try that real quick. And if that doesn't work, then I'll have to sit and think of another solution. But I want to give this a shot. But I do have to eat soon, because I tend to come up with solutions better when I'm not hungry, but I just want to give this a shot. The shading of this model without the material, look, I know it bothers you. It's the custom. Actually, I didn't show you the normals yet, actually. I'll do that real quick, just for a bit of fun. So, as you guys have probably seen, if you weren't here a few streams ago, so the face, I redid it about a week or two ago. And some of you might have seen me editing the normals on the old face. Now, I will get that open. Because for those that are just joining, you might not have seen the old, how her face looked a few weeks ago. I'll open that. It's a bit of a drastic difference, so I'll, let me just dig for it. It's in one of these folders. Alright. So, if I go to this one, this was the before and after of her face. Now, some of you, I think I did the normals of her old face on stream already at some point. So some of you might have thought, oh my god, he would have had to have redo the normals. Yes, I did. Except it was way more fun this time because I knew what I was doing. And I actually was able to make the topology better for the normals. So I had a bit of issues with the old face where there was like this weird shadow under her, like here, under her eyebrow, and it had a bit of a weird shape to it, and I didn't like it. And the forehead was very glitchy, and there was a lot of weird little artifacts that I hid in this photo, but when you move the light around, there's a lot of problems. I was able to fix all that when I redid the face. So yeah, it was a lot of work to redo it, but man, I think it was so worth it. Because watch this. I'll turn off the topology, and then I'll show you it with topology. But if I move the light like this, I know ignore the scalp, I just have not done the scalp. But if you just look at her face, that's how the normals are looking now. Pretty cool. I'll full screen it and I'll get the world, because I've got an actual proper directional light, the rendering light here. I'll show you how it looks here. Check that out. So I've actually made it so that that Rembrandt triangle under her eye, it used to be stretched, like it was actually kind of lopsided in the previous version. So I fixed that. So now it kind of sits more under her eye a bit better. The forehead, it comes over the forehead like a curtain. Like it's really smooth. So you can see it just kind of washes over the forehead. But then it snaps to the rest of the face. So the shadows will snap in and out of her cheeks and stuff, and that's deliberate. I know not everyone's a fan of the snapping, but that's the way I do it. That's the way Arc System Works does it. So they'll have the shadows like snap in and out, because it's really hard to get it wiping in on bits with curves like that. But I do have it so that that triangle kind of scales. And then we got that shadow on the side of the nose, which I'm really proud of. And let me just undo it and bring the light back to where it was. So this is a bit more of a modeling thing now, but everyone that told me not to use tries, this is where I prove you wrong, because those shadows are only possible with triangles. You have to do it this way to get those triangles. So that's why ages ago when I was doing the face the first time and learning how to do it, I was making a lot of very unorthodox decisions about the topology. And now it pays off. Because you see how the shadow is like exactly on those edges, because you have to essentially model in the shadows. That's what you're essentially doing by modeling it this way. So because this was the second attempt versus this, I was able to do it. I think I did a better job on getting that shadow to sit where I wanted. And that's the result. And so I've got it as well so that there is still a shadow underneath her eyebrow, but because I've retopologized that whole bit here, it kind of look, I don't know, it doesn't like have this weird gap in it now. And the reason that is, when you look at the actual normals, because this is what it all comes down to, is surface normals. So you can see when I move the well, I'll get a more visible, there's an easier way to, so you can see that with the different colors, you can see I've got the triangles. Like, you can actually see all the zones. And the essential trick is that every face, if I get the normals on, so I know it's a bit not related to rigging, but seeing as you asked about it and commented on it, I'll make the normals a bit longer. They're a bit hard to see. So the trick is basically the entire zone of over her eye and her cheek just have the same normal. Like, I just copy the normal from one of them and paste them all so that they're always being lit the exact same way. And then a different area will have different normals, like the forehead. And that's what you get. And then under the eye, it faces a slightly different direction. But you don't have them smooth, you have them flat, and that gives you the flat shading. And that's basically it. The only thing, though, is that I tried doing this on the Gabi's old model, but it didn't work because I didn't have the topology that supported it. So that was the main challenge, as you guys would have seen if you were there for those streams trying to work out the face, is that you kind of have to know in advance how it'll work to do it. And if you're doing it the first time, you don't know that. So it took me a few goes, but this is kind of on the, I guess it's like to the standard that Arc System Works would do, because they have a similar sort of thing going on with their shadows. So yeah, that's what I was able to get. So yeah, when you look at the normals, you see how the face, they're all just facing one way. That's kind of the trick, really. So once I understood what was going on, it was actually not too hard to redo it. You know, second time's always the charm, right? So anyway, that's how that, so yeah, it looks really weird without the material, but if with the material, it looks completely fine. So there we go. But yeah, it took me ages to figure that out. It's yeah, but I got it, I think. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I'm gonna be changing it anytime. All right, so let's get back to the bones. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna mark these as chains. Now, there are different types. I don't remember them all from memory, but I think there is just a default one that we might be able to use so that we can use these bones on the meta rig. Oh, sorry. Yeah, on the meta rig. Names, shape, I just gotta remember how it goes. I think I have to be in pose mode, and then I have to go to rigify type, and then there's all of these. I think if I give it a type, it'll make this bone on the layer where I can move it. That's my game theory. I think I might be able to actually do that. It's just a question of which one is the one we want. So there's experimental, face basic, face skin jaw. I don't think I want those. I think I just want something very simple. I'm not sure about skin anchor. I think maybe, but I don't know. We'll try skin anchor. Actually, you know what? I should probably read what these do. That might help me, because I know a lot of them are pretty similar, but I know that there are uses. So let me rigify documentation. Now, it's just a question of whether I can find the right, because some of it might be out of date. Oh yeah, sorry, for those who didn't know what normals are, yeah, I mean, this might not be the stream to explain it. They essentially, they control essentially how light reflects. And that's how to control shadows like that, you just got to basically control the shadows. That's the idea. If you want to know more about that stuff, because I don't have the time today to explain it, but I would recommend checking out the video I made a few years ago called, I think it was called Anime Shader, 3D Anime Shader or something like that, and it has a thumbnail of Gabi shielding her eyes from the sun. That one I talk about in detail how that works. The irony is that I think in that video I explain it really well, but I don't demonstrate it very well. So that's kind of a funny thing when you're starting out, is that the gap between what you understand and what you're capable of doing is very wide. So now I'd like to think I've closed that gap a little bit. So yeah, in the new video I want to make about this character, I hope to kind of not only explain it well, but also demonstrate it better. But anyway, that's for another topic. For Rigify, I think I went basic. Basic usage is what I think I'm after. Generating, building. Here we go. Advanced options subpanel. Okay, no, that's not it. Add a preferred meta rig. Edit bone positions. I think these are all just, yeah, this is all on the same page. So I think we want maybe advanced rig generation. Rig name. That's advanced. Wait, really? Let me zoom in. You guys probably can't see this. I'm just reading. So half of the time in development is usually this, by the way. That's why I don't stream every day, because a lot of it is just reading. Okay, I don't know why this is called an advanced feature. It's literally just naming it. Target rig, run widgets collection, overwrite, mirror, run. Okay, no, that's not what we want. I know I've read this before a while ago. But there is a thing that describes what all of those presets do. It's not this. Torso bone? No. Customization. Creating Mergamig. Maybe it's this. Here we go. It's starting to explain. Yeah. See, this is what I was trying to explain earlier. Is that it's all made of presets, modular presets. Now, this is actually a little bit out of date. There is a superface, but there is also, this has now been broken up into different modular pieces, which they haven't mentioned here, but that is a thing. So, what we're essentially trying to do, for those that are a bit lost. So I've got my Rigify meta rig, which works perfectly for the body and just the head, and it generates the controllers I want. It's just the face at the very beginning of the stream, for those that weren't here for it. It gives me way too much that I don't need, and if I try and cut things out, it breaks. So what I've gone and done now is I've made my own bones for the face, and I'm going to try and integrate this into Rigify, so that when I have the when I have the rig, it has all the cool controllers for the body, but it also allows me to just do my own thing for the face. So it is possible, it's just cumbersome. But this is the solution I want to do, because I could go in and do the entire thing manually, like the body and everything else. I could do that all on my own manually. But the body already works, it's already weight painted, and it works the way I want. So it would take too long to do that all manually. Doing it all with Rigify, like having the face just powered by Rigify, you saw at the beginning of the stream, it doesn't really work, because the way that the controllers move is not, what's the word I'm looking for? It isn't, there's a word that describes it perfectly, but my vocabulary's just deleted itself. Concordant? No, is that a word? It isn't congruent with how an anime face works. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. But you know what I mean. It doesn't... The default Rigify face is not meant for anime faces, so I'm doing my own thing. It has a lot of weird constraints. It influences way too much of the face than I need it to, and it has too many bones. But yeah, to try and modify that is a bit of a nightmare, so we've got this going. The trick is integrating it. And the issue that we found a few minutes ago is that these bones can be attached to the rig, but I can't move them because they're on the deform layer. And the thing is that they need to be on the deform layer, so which means we need to generate controllers to put on a different layer that I can control, because that's how Rigify likes being used. And the trick now is getting those controls. And the simplest way I can think to do that is to mark these bones as rig types, because once you do that with this little drop down, it will mark them and then it'll generate a control for them that I can then manipulate on the rig. The question is which type. So that's a quick recap for those just joining. And here it is explaining all the types. There's ones specifically for arms, which have an IK on them. There is ones for spines, which I do use a few times for the tail. I know that there is a page that describes exactly what each one does. I'm just trying to look for it. But I got it because if I choose the wrong type, it's going to give me stuff I don't want, because these are quite powerful if you know how to use them. You could basically make it... Oh, actually, this might be handy to read too, but I'll get to that in a minute. But the basic idea is these different types give you different properties. So some of these give you IK stuff, some of them give you squash and stretch stuff, some of them are just basic pivots. So I need to work out which of these is the most appropriate. I have a hunch that it's just basic pivot, but I want to read all of them first, just to, well, maybe not all of them. I think I have a good idea on which ones I don't want, like skin, well, actually skin maybe, but probably not spine, probably not limbs, but there's all these ones called skin anchor, skin basic, skin glue, and I just need to, I'd like to know what those are for, so I can make an educated decision on what to turn these bones into. Because I think if I can do that, then I can just proceed with my plan and have it a custom face rig just with these basic components that does just, it only has the amount of bones I need, and I can use it for the face. So let's give this a quick read, because this talks about bone collection UI, and I haven't used this menu before. So this actually might be handy to look at, because we do need to make sure that the faces are grouped properly. And now that I'm looking at this picture, I think I have actually used this before, so let's give it a read. Bone collections are used to group related bones together so that they can be hidden or revealed. Okay, so I know what that means. I know exactly what this means, because this is something I also need to do. So with the rig, some of you might have noticed, there are lots of controllers on them, and if I open up this menu, you can see that there's all these groups. So this is basically what this little page is talking about, is that you can tell it which group to be in. So I think what I want is I want every new thing I've made to be in this face layer. And it gives me 2 layers for the face. It actually used to give me 3 when I had the eyes there. And I think what I want, I don't think I want, I think I just want the one group. I don't think I need 2 groups of the face. Because it's not awfully complicated. Actually, you know what? Let me just check if I turn off face. Okay, I think the head is just part of the spine, so I'll leave that. But yeah, I'll just do it all in the one group. So I think what I should be able to do, we might as well do this. When the meta rig, so this is the meta rig now with those custom bones merged onto it. And if I go here, and if I look for that menu, bone collection UI, I believe that would be, oh, it might not show up until I assign a rig type. That could be, maybe. This, I think you can do the same thing with this menu, with relations, because it basically puts it on a layer. But I want to, let me just read this, because I feel like I should be seeing this menu somewhere. Rigify can take advantage of collections to generate extra features and the user interface for the final rig. A panel named rig layers, okay, I know that. The bone collections UI panel allows for configuring. Top of the panel, occupied. Okay, it's just describing what you see on the picture. And yeah, you can make them colors, that's handy. Oh, what's this? I should read this. Validate collection references. Some subrig types have references to bone collections in their properties. References to bone collections. What does that mean? Some subrig types have references to bone. Well, I'll keep reading and see if I can figure that out. Rigify uses a referencing scheme that is robust to collection renames. Oh, really? That's cool. But deleting collections or joining armatures can still lead to broken references. Absolutely. This button runs a scan that validates and normalizes all. Oh, okay. So it basically checks if you're going to break something. I don't remember this. I don't know if this is new, but I don't remember using this. That seems handy though. We might look at that later. Here's what I want, I think. I think this just lets you customize the menu. Yeah, this doesn't actually let you control the group. It's just the menu. It customizes. What is this? Action constraint allows applying poses. So this stuff is kind of more the inner workings of how the Rigify system works. So this is usually all automated, but because I'm doing my own stuff, it's probably helpful that I know some of how this works. The action constraint allows applying poses defined by an action to bones based on the transformation of another bone. Oh, so is this like bone constraints? I think it is. This requires adding a constraint. Yeah, constraints to every bone affected by the action, which is very tedious. Yep. For this reason, Rigify includes a system. Oh, cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to. I think this is a lot more info than I was expecting to find, so I might have to sit and research this a little and play with it. I might not need all these. I just want to find the rig types. That's all I want. That is handy to know, but I don't need to know that yet. Rig type. Okay, I think we're getting warmer. For full control, you can use the Rigify type. Yes. Oh, here we go. There's a whole page on rig types. That's what I want. Rig types are components. Okay, we don't need to read this. I know this bit. Let's have a look at basic copy. Okay, here's the thing that's a little confusing is that they use the word copy in the types. That kind of throws me off because I think it's just a copy. When I see the word copy in any name, I just assume it's a copy paste. But I think they've deliberately named it this for some reason. Oh no. Okay, well this explains it perfectly. This is exactly it. So copies the bone. So the basic copy chain does exactly what I want actually. It just makes a copy of this bone onto the layer where I can manipulate it. So that will work, but there might be something better if we keep reading. So a basic copy it makes a copy of it. Okay, now I know why it's called that. Basic pivot, let's see what this does. Single bone rig type that contains a custom pivot control for rotating and scaling its child subgrids. Okay, this type of control transforms its children when rotated or scaled, while moving it merely changes the pivot point. Huh. I'm trying to think if I would need that somewhere. Would that make for a jaw? Would that make a good jaw? Maybe. I think that might make for a good jaw. A basic pivot, if I have it there. Unless there's also one for a jaw that is like slightly better. But I'll think about that. It has a setting called Master Control. When enabled, an extra parent control bone with a box widget is created. Oh, I think I know this actually. I might have used this before. I think I used this for the hips. When enabled, extra parent control bone with a box widget is created to allow moving the rig. All right, maybe this for the jaw, but we might have something else. Pivot control. So there's actually a lot of settings with the pivot. There's also this basic raw copy. Single bone rig type that copies the bone without the name prefix. Oh, I wonder why you would want that. Normally all bones are copied from the meta rig are prefixed with ORG and placed on a invisible layer. So that's the layer I was trying to move before, and that's why it wasn't letting me move it, is that you're not meant to touch that layer. It's just there for weights. So just a bit of extra explanation. I know we're getting very research heavy now. So that layer, because the meta rig is its own custom, it's its own separate thing, and then when you click generate with Rigify, it creates a copy of it and has all the fancy controllers and stuff, but it actually still keeps the deformed bones on a separate hidden layer. Now, the reason it does that is because, I'm just trying to see if, for whatever reason I can't find that layer. It's meant to be on this layer, but it isn't. It's like not showing it. Because it's only showing the... Oh. It's actually... Oh. Hold on. Something's broken. Oh. I think I must have done something when I removed the head, because now it's not showing that menu... unless I'm looking at it in edit mode. Oh no, there we go. Okay, it's back now. There we go. So... you got all of these layers here with all the deform. So this is what Rigify does, is that it does scripts and all that, and it puts That's what controls these. You see when I click on this little menu, it actually is just a layer. But there is a secret layer right here, which I believe is the default. Well, there's two. There's two layers. There's one that it isn't mentioning one. I think this is the actual. These are the deform bones. So these are the actual bones that get put into Unreal. Then there's this layer, which are this is just the meta rig. It just makes a copy of it. So according to this, it seems that you can make bones that aren't prefixed with that thing. I don't know if that means it doesn't put them in that group or not, but I'll just finish reading it and see. Yeah, here we go. This precludes their controls of deforming bones, which makes it difficult to transfer complex full custom rig verbatim. Yep. This rig type does not add the automatic prefix, thus allowing an appropriate prefix to be manually included in the meta rig bone name, or alternatively, using no prefix to get a control. Oh, so we have two options then, based on these. If I want to put my own custom face rig, I can either make a copy of it in a different layer on Rigify, or I can just have the one bone be controllable without it making a copy on a hidden layer. So yeah, so it would do. So there's two layers. No, sorry. There's two layers that it's concerning here. So there's the this layer, which has the deformed bones. So I think what it means is if I just do a basic copy, it copies the bone to this layer, but it doesn't add a controller to it, I don't think. But if I don't do that, if I use basic raw, then it just keeps it, I think it just keeps it on this layer, but it lets me move it. Or, I think, yeah, actually, does it say? Okay, well, it uses a different prefix, but it'll let me move it. But I think I want to keep reading and see if there's a reason I might want, because I haven't seen that done with any of the presets I've used, and I think there might be a reason. But if I can get, because yeah, I mean, I could do it raw like that and just have just those bones move, but I think if I had controllers, that would be easier to animate. So I could try and do my own thing, but if Rigify gives me tools to generate controllers from my own custom bones, which I know it does, and if I know which controllers are the appropriate ones, that might save me time later with animating. So I want to look into that. So what's basic super? Okay, because there's different basic copies. There's basic copy chain and basic super copy. I'll keep going to the advanced stuff, because I think I have an idea on these. I need to look at like faces, because I want to see. Oh, here we go. Okay, now it's mentioning the new super face. So, what's face? Tongue, eye. Okay, I don't want to use that. So what I did earlier when I was copying those bones is basically it's just a basic tongue chain, which I've got in there, which works. I didn't know it had its own jaw bit though. Let's have a read. Implements a skin system parent controller that manages one or more loops of mouths. Oh, okay, maybe I don't want that. Or maybe I do. The rig must have one or more child candidates each full. Alright, because I think what that does is that includes the mouth too, I think. And the entire jaw. And that might include bones on the cheeks that I don't want. So we might ignore that one. Oh, actually, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it is just the mouth and the jaw. Because one of the reasons I wanted to try and keep using Rigify is that it had this stuff, which was actually kind of handy. So it had the bottom lip. You could actually make it so that when you move the jaw, it would keep the mouth shut, or you could have it open. You could actually control that, which is cool. So I don't know. Maybe if I can just have it the jaw and not the rest of it, maybe that'll work. So I'll remember that. Okay, I've gotten lost now. I gotta go back. Skin. Let's look at the skin ones, because I think this is what I've been looking for. Skin basic. And, well, wait, what's all this? Okay, let's have a read. I know, it's very research heavy. Oh, actually, oh, it might be it's getting close, well, it's getting past lunchtime. So, all right, I might do all this off stream, because this is gonna get very, there's a lot to read. But to recap what we've got at the moment, we've got bones in place where I can move, well, I can't move them yet, but I think what I should be able to do, if I just research this a bit more, I might be able to salvage and turn some of these into chains that don't have all the extra stuff I don't need. And that'll give me controllers, which allow me to control the face very easily. Because that's the downside of doing it all manually with bones like this, is that it's a bit of a chore to move everything. So if I can, yeah, if I can like make that work without all the extra stuff, that'd be great. So I'm probably not going to use their eye presets, because I only really want... Oh, actually, now that I look at it, there is a bone or two I'm missing. I do need a bone to control the eyelid, which I don't have yet. So I would just want one that controls the eyelid and moves it down without doing anything else, because the one that Rigify has, it has a lot of bones for the eyelid, which I don't need. It also has a lot of bones for the cheeks, which I don't need, and the ears, which I don't need, and the forehead, which I don't need. So if I can just get maybe their mouth and jaw, that would be great, if I can just have that on its own without the rest. Because then, once I get those chains in, it'll generate the controllers automatically, and then all I'll have to worry about is just the eyebrows and the eyes. And that's not a lot of bones, so that would be very simple. So anyway, it's going to take me a bit of time to get that up and running, but I learned quite a bit about rigging, trying to get this all going. But yeah, and if that doesn't work, then I can probably still use these bones and just make them copies on the meta rig layer, so it'll work out anyway. Cool. Now, before I head off, because I know it's the first stream of the year, you guys haven't heard from me in a while, so there is other stuff I've been working on, and I guess I'll give you a little tidbit at the end of the stream, just to show you some other non-rigging stuff, because I have been quite busy. And I'll try and give you some ideas on what's development-wise, where everything is. So I made a little, I think I mentioned earlier, I did some system stuff. But I uploaded a short little clip. I think it was on Twitter. So I'll have a quick look. I uploaded a cool little preview of some of the systems that I have not had time to make videos on yet. So check this out. Can I full screen it? I can. So I actually improved the dialogue system recently. So now it has scrolling text, it has sound effects as well, and it has branching paths. And it integrates with my mission system, which is also something that some of you might remember, but I do need to make a video on it at some point. That might be the next video I do, it might be on the mission system. So that has it where the objective comes on screen and everything. And it has the results screen as well, which I've animated. It has sound effects, it has music. I know the desktop audio is muted. And loading screens too, so I don't know if you caught that for the first few frames, there's a loading screen here. So this was all stuff from the last year, and this is all the stuff that I just have not had time to make videos on, and this is the stuff I'm trying to make devlogs about. The thing is that it's a lot, so the idea is that I'm going to be making devlogs for each of these things. So, you know, maybe one for the mission system and loading screen stuff. The dialogue might be bundled with that. There's also the lighting, because you might actually notice that the lighting and rendering is different. So I've made some improvements there. It actually runs better. The game is, frame rate wise, is actually a lot better now. And there's a lot more that I'm probably forgetting. I actually did write down a little list. There's the combat stuff, which I talked about in the last devlog. The rank system, it's all very modular. The music will actually change depending on if you're in a mission or not. And the HUD design has been changed as well. So there's quite a bit there. I thought I'd just show you guys for the start of the year, just to show you some stuff I've been cooking. When will we get videos on this stuff? Well, it's going to be a lot of work to talk about, but I am working on them in the background while I'm doing the character. So if character progress seems slow, that's why, because I've got scripts for some of this already up. I've got to start recording soon. So I'm kind of just trying to do everything all the time, all at once sort of thing. And I'm finding it's helpful, but it just means that everything takes a bit. Oh, thanks guys, thanks for the compliments. But yeah, so that's stuff that's, a lot of you I have not talked about, so I do need to talk about them. But yeah, making videos, I'm trying to figure out ways to kind of cut down on production time and have the videos take less time, but we'll see how that all goes. I'm trying to do that while also not compromising the quality. So it's going to be a bit tricky while I work that out, and we'll also work on this at the same time. So I appreciate everyone being so patient with that. I do want to make it my resolution, and I'm going to say this so that you guys hold me accountable. I really want to keep you more in the loop on sort of the devlog side of things. I had a lot of time last year to make progress behind the scenes and to improve my workflows a bit. So I'm hoping I can like put that into practice as we go ahead. And I just want to say thanks to everyone that's been so patient with it all and has been sticking around, even though, you know, content-wise on the channel, it's been a little dry. So I'm hoping to do something about it, but there's a lot to do. If you do want to know exactly day-to-day what I'm doing, members and patrons have my Discord channel, no, not a channel, it's not called a Discord channel, it's called a Discord server, that's right. I have a server for those guys where every day I'm just posting screenshots of just what's happening. So it just screenshots and little blurbs. It's sort of like my own journal, I guess. Not videos, but yeah, because those take time, but just, you know, just daily stuff. So if you're interested in that, consider supporting the channel and you'll get access to that. There's also new merch available for the reward tiers. I've designed a new design. Do I have a picture of it? I should do. I'll show you the design. I actually let you guys pick it out, and you guys picked something pretty cool. So I'll bring that up for you if you're interested in collecting a shirt or something throughout the year. So this is the design. It's like got this cool Japanese text. I know you guys love your Japanese text. This actually says Gabi in Japanese, and I've checked with various sources, it is correct. Yeah, so if you pledge to certain tiers, like the early access tier, for instance, you know, you'll get like a sticker after 3 months. And then if you want to go full on, you can join the highest tier, and every few months you'll earn through these items, and you'll get a hoodie at the end. So I just thought I'd mention that if you want to support the channel pipeline, the content I'm working on. You don't have to, of course, but if you can, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, I have to eat, and I have to research more rigging. But until then, I'll see you. I'm going to try and be back again next week and show you what I've got with the rig. And yeah, that's going to be it for me for now. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Happy 2024. I will see you next time.